Hello, Siege³. Welcome back to the Siege³ Community Tournament. Today I will be solo casting the Squiggly Boys versus the Honey Badgers in their Siege matchup. And my name is Spark. You may know me from Spark's Pugs. So we're going to start off here on Lijiang Tower here in Control Center. Now I expect we'll see lots of very brawly comps, possibly some Rhine Zarya goats, whatnot. It's also possible we could see a Pharah coming out on one side. Some teams have been liking to run the Pharah here on the point and control center, but it's not a guarantee since the ceiling makes it a little bit more difficult for Pharahs to have free reign compared to other maps. Now, I've been talking with some of the players on both of the teams, and from what I know, some players on both teams are very excited to go up against each other. So this should be a very good match. All right, looks like we have here the oh, we got a pause coming in real fast. That's all right. It happens. One moment. I'm just going to double check that everything is fine and dandy. Do. Awesome. So again, we're going to have the Honey Badgers up against the Flex Tapes here. And Flex Tape's going to be on left in the blue. And the Squiggly Boys are going to be on the right in red. So it looks like here the Flex Tapes are going to be locking in Doomfist, Moira, Winston, Lucio, and Genji, considering the game is about to start. I wonder what we'll see Marble on. And Mundy over there in the Squiggly Boys. One sec. Oh, I'm sorry, not Flex Tapes, Honey Badgers. Ugh, I was called in last second to cast. I'll be really upfront. My brain's a little out of it, so you'll have to bear with me here. Right. Anyways, so it's going to be the Squiggly Boys versus the Honey Badgers. And yes, casters are ready to start the game back up. Now, the Honey Badgers over in blue on the left are probably going to be running here something called the Unblockable comp. Now, what you can do, something some contenders teams have been running, is a Winston, Reinhardt, Doomfist, Genji, Lucio, and then secondary support that can be flexed to a lot of different things. And what you do is the bulk of the damage that team composition deals can go through defense matrix and barriers, and it is found to be very, very useful for when you want to burst a target down really fast in a goats-like setting, which does look like that is what's going to be happening here. We've got Marble rushing in on the Reinhardt, so that will complete the comp I just listed. Here we have the Squiggly Boys setting up mid, going to try to catch this engagement as soon as it comes in, but Mundy's going to get knocked back really, really fast. Caliber's going to go in to follow up on Mundy, but the charge is going to come through on Caliber. Wesley managed to find two in the back, though. That's two supports down for the Squiggly Boys really early on, and the Brigitte is one of them. That's bad. This is probably going to go straight to the Honey Badgers really, really fast. Looks like they're going to leave one on point and rush up to the choke point. They want to try to hold the Squiggly Boys here. If they let the Squiggly Boys get too much momentum with their high HP, high sustained goats comp, they could take a little bit of damage over on the side of the Honey Badgers. Looks like they are going to back up now, try to hold the point. They'll probably move in for a sort of dive-like maneuver here onto someone's backline. That is the fastest Graviton Surge I have ever seen out from Ballots. I didn't even think to check the ultimates up top. That's a nice counter shatter from Marble. The Meteor Strike is also going to come in. A lot of ults being used here from the Honey Badgers. They've committed 3 or 4 ultimates already. No, 5 checking the ult charges up top. And they really need to win this fight. That is 6 ultimates this fight committed from the Honey Badgers, and they're still losing. They're down both of their DPS, and at this point, it might be just die on point mode, because if they back up now, there's a chance they'll get staggered. Sal and Wesley are just going to have to jump on point. That is very unfortunate for the Honey Badgers. The Squiggly Boys managed to come in there with a grav that was built up in the first 20 seconds of the game. That is impressive. Absolutely props to Ballots on that one. Now, at this point, the ult economy is very firmly in the hands of the Squiggly Boys. They have a Reinhardt Earthshatter coming up, and they have a self-destruct. And Ballas is already 70% to his next grab. He's absolutely doing an amazing job building up that grab. They're going to try to combo the Shatter with a self-destruct, and they're going to get Caliber out of it. That is exactly the opening they need. They can rush forward, WM1 into anyone they want on the Honey Badgers. Nothing the Honey Badgers can really do about it. It looks like they're not going to really extend out to the spawn. They don't want to chase that. Ballas has his Graviton Surge coming up here. They don't have too too much to combo it with, but Innovate's getting close to their Coalescence, so that is probably what we'll see coming up here. Mundy's going to swing into it now, and that's going to mean they're going to take the team kill without having to commit anything else. They're using ultimate. The Squiggly Boys are committing their ultimates so early on in the fights that the Honey Badgers haven't even really had a time to build up their own. The closest the Honey Badgers have is Tommy coming up near that Deadeye, and the Deadeye is not exactly the most game-changing ultimate. It's more of a press Q to die at the higher levels of play, so we'll have to see what Tommy does with it. A nice little flank might give them the opening they need. Right now, looks like the rest of the Honey Badgers are going to try to move in here onto point, take a little space. That Deadeye is going to come through, going to see if it finds anything. Doesn't look like it's going to. Wes is going to immediately go in. He finds a pin, but nothing comes of it, and unfortunately, the rest of his team is not there to back him up immediately, so Wesley is going to fall early on in that fight. That is unfortunate because Wesley falling is absolutely not how you want to start off a team fight against the Honey Badgers. That's a nice Earth Shatter coming in from Mundy just to take stagger kills. Caliber's going to try to catch it with his own ultimate, but it doesn't look like it's going to do too much. Caliber does manage to find 3 kills, which could be an opening for the Honey Badgers to move in here with the beat drop, but Balance has his Graviton Surge, and if he's smart, which we know he is at this point, he'll be waiting up so that he can use it aggressively and keep them from touching the point at all. There it is. It'll come through. Does not look like they'll be able to get to the point. This should go to the Squiggly Boys. That was a nice little back and forth there. Now, it looks like eventually the Honey Badgers had to give up on running that unblockable team composition. They were not finding the coordination they needed to get targets out. Now, it's interesting. The way I've heard it described, actually, is you position it like you're playing a GOATS comp, right? You know, 3 tanks, 3 healers, very brawl-like style of play. But then while you're in the team fight, you can't just brawl because you have way less sustain than an actual GOATS team composition. You need to have the focus fire to make sure that all of that unblockable damage is actually getting put to use, or it'll just get healed back. So we're going to be here on Gardens now, and it looks like both teams are going to be swapping over to Dive, and they are going to have Pharahs. Now, interestingly enough, it looks like neither team is going to run a Mercy. No, I was wrong. Chrysler is on the Mercy, so he'll be attached to Blue Dude up there. Caliber does not have his own Mercy, so without playing really closely to the map geometry, he's going to have a hard time with this. Tommy got picked early on by BitConnect, and Hippo Mage is going to fall right after that. At this point, Wesley looks like he doesn't even want to commit. He just wants to get out, but unfortunately, it's too late. Jump cooldown didn't get back in time, so it looks like these picks are absolutely going to have to force the Honey Badgers to back up. Now we're going to try to reconvene here and move in. That's a nice pick onto Blue Dude, and as he respawns, the res will not be there. A secondary pick onto Innovate means there's a huge opening now that 30% of the team's of Squiggly Boys damage is gone with the lack of Discord. There are no healers left up for the Squiggly Boys since there was a nice follow-up dive onto the Mercy, and now it's only Blue Dude on point, and this should get flipped for the Honey Badgers. Now, at this point in time, the Honey Badgers actually have a really nice ult advantage. It's small, but it's definitely consistent. Across the board, almost all of them have higher ult charge than their opponents on the side of the Squiggly Boys. This means we should be seeing a barrage coming in really, really soon. I expect we'll see the barrage get used to this very fight, possibly to help catch the dive. There it is. Caliber's going to use the barrage. He's only going to get Mundy, and Blue Dude is going to punish him for it immediately. Tommy's trying to position around the outside to take shots, but BitConnect is there to stop him, and at this point, the tanks are split up. This is probably going to go back to the Squiggly Boys almost immediately, and they didn't even need to use ultimates to do it. Although Chrysler did end up committing his Valkyrie, now that I noticed. So it looks like here, at this point, the Honey Badgers have a lot more ultimates to work with. They'll probably pop sights. That's unfortunate that Blue Dude managed to pick both the Pharah and the Mercy out of the sky. That is some impressive aim right there. And that means the Honey Badgers are going to have to just wait. They can't afford to go in without the pharmacy. That's a huge chunk of their damage, and their sustain just gone. Luckily, they're right near their spawn, so it shouldn't take too long. Now, they're going to have to be really careful of Innovate in this next fight, because if they try to dive anybody else, Innovate could be there with the Transcendence to bail them out just for free. So they need to do something to force the Transcendence out of Innovate before they really commit any good ultimates to the fight. Otherwise, nothing might come of it. Blue Dude's going to start things off in this fight with his dragons, and that's going to force Hippo Mage to Transcendence just to keep his team in the fight. Hippo Mage is not going to get caught out by the self-destruct, but BitConnect is going to get res. At this point, Marble is trying to contest the DPS on the side of the Squiggly Boys, and he does manage to catch Blue Dude out with his self-destruct. Chrysler is also going to get found with Wesley's Primal Rage, and now Wesley is just trying to get on somebody. He finds the Zen, he's going to die. And now it's just Mundy who's trying to get focused down here. She's going to pop Primal Rage and try to move out onto Wesley. And at this point, the Honey Badgers have used 5 of their ultimates. Again, a little bit lackluster on the ult management, but it does look like it means they're going to take the fight home, luckily. Now that he's just trying to shut down Blue Dude, it's definitely going back for the Honey Badgers. The Squiggly Boys have plenty of time to work with. They can easily build up their ultimates and make a nice ult push, but they have to be really careful that they don't waste any ultimates. They have time to work with, so they have to be careful not to waste any of it. So it looks like... at this point, Pharmacy Caliber is just trying to take some free shots, wants to build up that barrage for the next fight, probably. And I think the Squiggly Boys are looking at going to the right side around the back of the point through the white room. Innovate and Blue Dude are still mid. There might be a little bit of a communication disconnect as Blue Dude's pressuring the left side all alone without a Pharah pocket. Tommy is there to take the duel. Looks like it's a bit of a stalemate right now as they're jiggle peeking each other over and over. And meanwhile, the rest of the fight's going to break out, moving on to point. BitConnect is going to go for a flank, see if he can get on one of the supports. He finds Sal, but doesn't get anything out of it. There's the pulse bomb. The stick lands. Marble's going to throw in the self-destruct, see if that gets anything. It won't. Mundy is going to die to Caliber with the rockets, but Chrysler's going to try to even things out with a res, and BitConnect manages to take down Hippo Mage. This fight could still go in anyone's favor. The rocket barrage is there, but it's not going to find any value, and at this point the frags are coming through from still both sides. Hard to tell which way it's going to go. If Innovate dies here, it will not go in his team's favor, but it looks like he's going to win that duel, so it will probably go to the Squiggly Boys. However, as I say that, a lot of respawns just returned. Sal's going to get fragged out on by Ballott's cannon. The Dragons show up. Doesn't look like they managed to find anything, but it does make space for Chrysler to go for the res. Just as I say that, Tommy's there to stop him halfway through. He's going to have to take that duel with Blue Dude. He's going to lose that. Now, at this point, the Honey Badgers do have the man advantage on the point, but the DPS prowess is definitely going to have to go to the Squiggly Boys. And just as I say that, Blue Dude's going to fall to Wesley. Got a little bit too close for comfort onto that point. BitConnect's back. He's going to try to take that duel with the Mercy, but unfortunately the Valk is there to stop him from getting any value off of that. And at this point, it is just trickle-in time for the Squiggly Boys, which could tie up the King of the Hill map. Lots of trickle fighting on this point. We've seen it a lot over the course of the Siege matches. It takes a really long time, apparently, for the trickling to stop as this fight wears down over time. Specifically on Gardens, you can see even here, it's going to continue to stagger on. There's 2 back on point. Going to have to force some more ultimates out of the Honey Badgers. Doesn't matter, they have ults to spare. Now, what's scary for the Honey Badgers is if Innovate gets back with the Transcendence, that could be more stall, but he's not going to be able to do that. So that point will go all the way to the Squiggly Boys. Now, the King of the Hill match is best of 3, so we are not at a game point yet. We're going to have some time here in market. We'll see how the teams adapt to each other. That does tie up the King of the Hill score to 1-1, however, which means these teams are definitely showing some adaptations. Now, it looks like on the Honey Badger side, we're going to be seeing a little bit more non-dive. They're going to go for something a little bit more death-bally with Rhine Diva, possibly. Mercy Zen, that's pretty standard. And then looks like we're going to have Rhine Zarya on the side of the Squiggly Boys. The tank lineups are definitely something to watch here. And also BitConnect, if he can win those duels with Tommy, which is going to be a little bit difficult out in the courtyard, he could give his team a massive advantage with the really consistent mid-range damage that he's outputting. Wesley's really far up. I'm not sure he realizes just how far up he is. He's going to have to keep that shield up if he doesn't want his supports to die while they try to support him. He's trying to hold his corner. He's going to go for the pin with the bubble, but he's not going to get anything out of it. At this point, Blue Dude does manage to fall to Tommy, and one little misstep out into the sniper line of sight. That's all it takes in this meta. And at this point, the frags still are even. Chrysler's going to get the res off. Now both supports are alone and low on the side of the Honey Badgers. But Sal's going to make it out thanks to that nice little self-heal, and Tommy's going to frag out all he wants in the courtyard as people seem to just forget that you can't stand where that sniper's going to shoot you. If you're standing in the sniper line of sight, you're standing somewhere you can instantly die. Never forget that. So Caliber's going to move up here, take some free shots into the bulk of the team, but he's going to be forced to retreat as Blue Dude comes out. Right after Blue Dude gets Tommy. Innovate's caught out of position by Hippo Mage. That's a nice punish there. Tommy's got the res for him. Chrysler is also going to res out Innovate, and Tommy's going to lose the Widow duel. Wesley's going to move out. He doesn't seem to want to hold the point. He wants to get a little aggressive here. Mundy's going to push him back in. Blue Dude's going for a flank. He managed to get some damage off on Sal. That is going to finish it off. The Rocket Barrage is not enough to turn the fight back in the favor of the Honey Badgers, so the Squiggly Boys are going to recap the point. At this point, BitConnect is coming up to his Deadeye and Ballots Cannon, his Graviton. You have to wonder if that's the combo we're going to see, assuming that the Squiggly Boys are correctly tracking ultimates on the side of the Honey Badgers. They might know Hippo Mage has Transcendence, and so they might decide to combo the Graviton Surge with something that Transcendence can't block, that being the Deadeye. Now, Innovate also has his Transcendence, which means they're going to have an advantage coming into this next fight if they play their cards right. But because Marble doesn't have a Grav to force the Transcendence out. So it looks like Money's going to hold back on the point. They want people to come in through there. The counterpin is not there, and BitConnect gets dropped really early on. That means there isn't really too much to stop the Transcendence without BitConnect there to follow up with the Deadeye. Sal does get fragged out on halfway through the fight, but I think this is generally going in the Honey Badger's favor. Ballots Cannon is still really high energy, already 20% to his next Grav, but as the frags come through, Ballots Cannon finds himself stuck on the point when maybe he should have just retreated. That is unlucky for him. But regardless, the points are now going up for the Honey Badgers, and Marble's Graviton Surge is now in play. Very close and very close behind is Caliber's Dragon Strike. Now, Innovate does have his Transcendence available for that, and because on the current patch of the game, you can't damage boost that Dragon Strike, they need Wesley to be swinging into the Grav at the same time the Dragon Strike goes through, or nothing will get found with it, because Innovate will know to save that Graviton Surge, or to save that Transcendence for the Graviton Surge. There's the Graviton Surge, and despite the fact that the Transcendence was through, the burst damage from Tommy is still going to find Blue Dude, and I couldn't quite see how they lost Chrysler, but it is working out that the Squiggly Boys are being forced to back up, and Hippo Mage is very near his next Transcendence, with the only two ultimates being near ready for the Squiggly Boys being the Earth Shatter and the Valkyrie. So at this point, it looks like the Honey Badgers want to move up, get a little bit more aggressive with their positioning, and try to hold this choke point, perhaps because they know they might be able to get some separation off with Caliber's Dragon Strike. They are not saving the Dragon Strike to be used with Marble's new Graviton Surge, because at this point, they don't even know for sure if they're going to get another Graviton Surge. They're going to land the counterpin onto Mundi, which is a nice kill there. The Dragon Strike doesn't really manage to find anything, but Hippo Mage does. Two members of the Squiggly Boys are down thanks to Hippo Mage, and might as well Transcendence. Why not? Can't reach the point. It's 2-1 in favor of the Honey Badgers. A nice show so far that they're putting on for us, folks. And yes, I do mean best of 5. Anyways, we're going to be back here on Gardens. I wonder if we're going to see the Pharas tried again. It's possible we will not, because of the issues they were having early on the last time we played Gardens, on the side of the Honey Badgers especially. The Phara was having a really difficult time finding much value compared to right when held up next to Blue Dude on the Hanzo. Looks like they're going to be locking in a more standard dive composition on the side of the Honey Badgers, but with a Lucio instead of a Mercy, and Tommy is going to be on that Widowmaker instead of the Genji, which is a good choice. They're expecting a Pharah to come out from the side of the Squiggly Boys, but instead it seems to be dive with a standard Deathball tank lineup of Reinhardt and Zarya. They're going to go through that white room on the right side, and they're going to go directly to point. They don't want to play in that courtyard. That high ground is going to make it, or excuse me, not that high ground, that open space would make it really, really difficult for them to defend against a dive. Blue Dude's going to get picked really early on, which is unlucky for the Squiggly Boys, because that's a huge percentage of their ability to peel for the threats on the side of the Honey Badgers. The frags are even on both sides now, but if Sal can't get a res off, the res is going to come out for BitConnect, which means it's not going to be quite even. That was a really risky res from Sal, but luckily no one's there to punish him for it, and at this point the Squiggly Boys are just moving forward to take stagger kills. And Wesley is just going to have to back up. He tried to save Marvel, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. Wesley will probably get out alive. He's got plenty of health left. Ballots Cannon, again, is already very, very close to his Grav. That is some incredible Grav building coming out from Ballots Cannon on the Zarya on all of these points so far. Blue Dude's waiting off to the side. He wants to try to get on someone. Doesn't look like he's going to get anything out of it. Not quite a deep enough flank. A little bit a little bit ahead of himself. Wes is going to go in deep for a dive here. Might just be trying to pull attention, but he's going to die for it. The follow-up wasn't timed properly. That is unfortunate. Even with one of the tanks down, they're going to go for the Grav Pulse combo. They get 4. There's nothing that can be done about that. The Diva wasn't there to eat either the Graviton or the Pulse Bomb, so I guess the Honey Badgers should just thank their lucky stars that they didn't give the Squiggly Boys any more ult charge. That said, Squiggly Boys don't really need much more ult charge. They already have all 4 of their other ultimates. Caliber is going to get picked early on. That's going to force a little bit of a reset here. They've got the res though, so it shouldn't be too long. I expect we'll see a use of Transcendence and or Dragon Blade coming in from this next fight. They need to do something about the Zen though, if they want to make sure the Honey Badgers dies to that Dragon Blade. So that means they need to either shatter the Zen or trick or force the Transcendence out in another way. So Wes is going to be applying some point pressure here. He wants to draw the attention back while Caliber goes around the long way. It does look like that's going to work partially. Caliber gets some damage off. Hippo Mage finishes it, or Hippo Mage is going to fall. Caliber is going to get forced back a little bit by Ballots, who's already 60% to his next grab. Again, Tommy falls to Blue Dude. Wesley still manages to chase down supports, but with Deadeye coming through, that does manage to get rid of a huge damage source on the side of the Squiggly Boys. That is fantastic play out from Caliber. Will almost definitely flip the point back to them. However, it is 99% to 0, and Ballots Cannon is close to his next grab. This is an uphill fight for the Honey Badgers if they want to keep this point. It's not the end of the world if they lose it. That will tie up the score on the King of the Hill 2-2, which will mean it will be game point after this match if the Honey Badgers lose the point here. Wes is going to try to pressure the front line, see if he can get anything out of it. They do manage to get a nice pick onto Blue Dude. That's exactly what they need. They need to pressure Ballots so that he doesn't go for the Graviton Surge really early on. Because if he takes the Graviton Surge, it could be plenty to end the fight right here. Money's going to go in for initiation with the charge. There's the Gravit. Only got tanks. That could be good for the Honey Badgers. Tommy's going to manage to take out Monday. As long as that doesn't get res, that could be great, but it is going to get res. So now it's very clearly going towards the Squiggly Boys. I expect we'll see the point finish out right here with not even much stall. Indeed, that is going to happen. We're tied up 2-2 now here on Lijiang Tower. This is going to be match point for the King of the Hill map. Should be going back to Control Center. We're going to see if the Honey Badgers are going to try the unblockable comp again, or whether they just want to go for a more standard goats. Apparently, I don't know how the map selection works for the points on King of the Hill, because I thought it would loop back around, but it looks like we're going to be doing Night Market again, which I don't have a problem with. I love Night Market. So we're going to see Caliber on the Hanzo still. At this point, Blue Dude's going to go over to the Doomfist. That should be interesting. That's definitely one to keep an eye on. I wonder what his plan is with that. Probably something having to do with displacing Wesley on the side of the Honey Badgers. Make some space for the rest of his team to frag out for free on the squishies of the Honey Badgers. Both teams moving towards the point here. We're going to see what happens when they meet in the middle. Wesley again wants to move up, take a little bit more aggressive positioning. He's not going quite as far this time, but he is going to go for a flank. Blue Dude's going to go in for Caliber, but he uses all of his abilities and nothing comes of it. They could finish him off really fast right now. No, he's going to get out. So unfortunately, Tommy does manage to take him out at the last second. BitConnect manages to kill Tommy too, and that is going to lead to an even 5v5 right now. Wesley misses the pin onto Mundy, and Mundy does not miss hers. At this point, it's still an even fight, but Tommy has the res. The point is in the favor of Squiggly Boys, and at this point, Wesley is just trying to get in behind Mundy. There's not much Mundy can do now at this point. They have to dislodge that threat, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Wesley managed to land a massive shatter, absolutely wins the fight for his team. Unfortunately, Mundy was not in the right position to really stop Wesley from just controlling her own backline. And that is unfortunate for the Squiggly Boys. It means it will be a very early flip for the Honey Badgers. Hippo Mage is very, very close to his Transcendence, which matches the fact that BitConnect is very, very close to his Dragon Blade. So that's very convenient. Blue Dude is going to go for the flank here. That's something to watch for sure. He's going to find Sal. He's going to get the kill. Sal is low. There is follow-up from Blue Dude. He managed to trade out, but I would trade my Doomfist for a Mercy any day of the week. The advantage is definitely for the Squiggly Boys here. Looks like Crystler is going to go for the res. They are going to find it. That keeps it an even fight. Tommy is still taking relatively free shots. Manages to take out Innovate. Is he going to get Crystler? He's not quite going to get the Mercy. The Grav is there, but so is the Transcendence. I don't believe there's anything that can be done to follow up with that as fast as the Grav was like normal. There's the Meteor Strike combined with the Shatter. That is plenty of follow-up. Blue Dude definitely going well on the Doomfist. And Sal there just sort of hanging out on the back of point, hoping that they won't see him. Bought his team an extra 2 or 3 percentage. That's pretty great. Now at this point, Hippo Mage does not have his Transcendence. BitConnect is going to be smart about this. He knows that means he can take out his Dragon Blade for free on this next fight. And Marble has the Grav, and Wesley has his Earth Shatter as well, but it all depends on whether or not one of those can catch BitConnect and shut him down. Because again, there is no Transcendence. Tommy's gonna find 2. That is a huge chunk of the damage from the Squiggly Boys just removed from play. Innovate gets rezzed, and the Transcendence is out, but Hippo Mage lands an amazing right click onto BitConnect. Nothing's gonna put down Hippo Mage. He wants to hit shots, and the Dragon Blade is not gonna stop that. That is someone who does not lose their cool when there's an ulting Genji in front of them. I can tell you, I am not like that. Coming into this next fight, the only ultimate in play is Marble with the Graviton Surge. That does mean there's a distinct advantage for the Honey Badgers. We're going to see some pretty radical composition changes coming in from the Squiggly Boys. We're going to see a Goats-like composition with 3 tanks and 3 healers, but we're going to have a Hammond instead of a Diva, which is interesting. The Graviton Surge only manages to find the Hammond, but that might be enough. With no mercy for the res, they might be forced to back out early right now, because if they commit to this fight, it could be their last. So they're just going to get out now before they feed any ult charge, because they know they're on a tank-heavy team composition, and losing the fight would absolutely ruin the ultimate economy. Honestly, that was not a bad trade, only trading about 10 seconds worth of point progress for a Graviton Surge. That's 2 ultimates coming in. That's a massive quad kill for Caliber. The Graviton Surge is counted completely by Hippo Mage's Transcendence, and it looks like this map is going to go in favor of the Honey Badgers. Well played. Some fantastic ult management at the very end there, excluding that one solo grab onto the Hammond. That was well done. That was very, very interesting. Unfortunately, Ballots was doing great with those grabs, charging them up and getting a bunch of them, but then their placement and their timing when he actually used them as they got towards the later points was just not quite ideal, not what you needed to really carry those team fights like you were seeing Ballots do in the first few points. So we're going to have Squiggly Boys pick the next map here. That is a 3-2 victory on King of the Hill for the Honey Badgers. Let's see what map the Squiggly Boys pick. Looks like we might be going to King's Row here. I do love some Overwatch. That was some really nice Overwatch play. The ult management on both teams got a little bit iffy as the games went on. It sort of changed. It sort of swapped. The ult management of the Squiggly Boys was really, really clean early on, and then it started to get a little bit rusty as they played. And the opposite was true for the Honey Badgers, where their ult management was very, very relaxed, and they were just sort of using ultimates as they got them. Then they started being a little bit more tight-fisted with them, right? And it started to sort of tilt the balance. I do think that is largely, I do think that is largely the thing that gave the Honey Badgers the win. So we are going to be going to King's Row here next. And just a moment while the Honey Badgers pick sides. Now here on King's Row, obviously we can expect to see a lot of Reinhardt. That said about the Reinhardt, Hammond apparently in Contenders is getting used as a main tank. That's weird all on its own. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm sure the pros know what they're doing, but I don't understand it yet. I need to do some research on that. So it's entirely possible we could see some Hammond Diva combos being brought out here on King's Row by the attacking team especially, seeing that run to some success in Contenders. But we'll have to see what they're doing. It's possible that neither team has run enough Hammond to be truly comfortable with it in some sort of weird strategy like that, but we'll have to see. One moment. Just making sure the teams are ready, and then we will hop right into the game. That's 1. Where's 2? Just waiting on ballots to be ready over on the side of the Squiggly Boys, and then we'll get started here. So if we do see some Hammond being run in a main tank slot, that's definitely something to keep an eye on, because I would be very interested to see how that plays out. I know I will be watching very closely if that is what we end up seeing. Even if it's not, it's entirely possible we'll see some Pharah, although that's starting to get a little bit rarer these days with the Widowmaker line of sights. And the Widowmaker in general, double sniper is still absolutely viable. We could absolutely see that on defense. The triple tank double sniper strategy is still well alive and good, although a little bit weaker against a Hammond dive now, thanks to that nice pile driver maneuver that can be pulled off to knock people above their shield. Just got to watch for that hook from the Roadhog. So we are going to have here the Honey Badgers are on attack in red, and the Squiggly Boys will be in blue on defense. Looks like we're going to be seeing another similar unblockable team composition coming in from the Honey Badgers. I expect we'll see Marble potentially go over to the Winston. I can say from personal experience, I've had great success running that team composition in my own scrimmage matches and sometimes in my comp games, if you can get your team to go along with it. Because, I mean, let's face it, it looks dumb. It looks like a dumb team composition. Winston, Reinhardt, Genji, Doomfist, and then like a Lucio and a flex support. It looks dumb. You look at it and you would say that wouldn't work, but it does. So it looks like Marble is debating whether or not he wants to swap over to the Reinhardt or stay on the Diva. Sorry, lots of people talking in my ear right now. And here on the side of the Squiggly Boys, we have an interesting team composition with Rein Zarya. That's pretty standard on King's Row, but we have a Brigitte and a Mercy for the support lineup. Oh no, we do also have the Zenyatta, and then we'll have a solo DPS Hanzo. That's very interesting. I expect we'll see lots of Grav Dragon combos, but you have to remember you can't really damage boost them anymore, so we'll have to see BitConnect getting a little bit more aggressive on the Reinhardt. Now, I'm fairly certain that BitConnect was on DPS in the last map, and they've moved Mundi from main tank onto one of the support slots, possibly due to some confusion about who plays what, as opposed, regarding their skill set. We do have the unblockable comp coming in from the Honey Badgers. Let's see if they can play it right. Caliber's going to go in, immediately finds Krister. That's huge. Tommy manages to take out Innovate too. Nothing can block that damage, you have to remember. So it's completely unstoppable. It doesn't matter if you're holding shields. It doesn't matter if you have defense matrix. They don't have defense matrix, but if it did, it wouldn't matter. It's all unblockable. Ballast Cannon here does look like he's going to try to contest. They know the fight could be winnable with a little bit of stall. Marble just has to stay alive. The dragon is there. Marble's getting uncomfortably low. The punch is there to try and keep Marble up. Sal is also trying to pocket him with that healing, but it's getting really difficult. Here the respawns are back. We're going in again. Ballast has another really early Graviton Surge, but it doesn't look like it's going to find anything. In fact, BitConnect is going to die trying to swing into it. So it looks like this is going to go to the Honey Badgers. They are going to chase kills out here immediately. Caliber goes in for that aggressive rocket punch. The follow-up is there from Tommy and Wesley and the rest of the crew. They are going to take some nice stagger kills. Looks like they're leaving Innovate for last over behind. Both the supports just getting on top of Innovate. 2v1 battle for the best support, apparently. So we have a small crew of Honey Badgers moving forward to continue harassing BitConnect and Mundi. Unfortunately, BitConnect actually manages to land the pin on Caliber. They're going to commit lots of ultimates to this stagger fight. I'm wondering if that's really worth it with the timing of all this. That's a lot of ultimates just for stagger kills, and at this point, Tommy really needs to get out. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. Now Sal just has to get out himself with Hippo Mage. I'm not entirely sure that was worth the ultimates they committed, considering that they're still going to be able to get contested here in Streets phase. Normally, when you want to take stagger kills that aggressively, it's because you don't want to let the defending team touch the card at all in Streets phase, and that can be really viable, but you need to space it out a little bit slower than that. So the tank lineup of the Squiggly Boys has to be really careful here, because Tommy is occupying that really long sight line. So the closer the tanks get, the easier Tommy's going to have onto the back line. Wesley's going to fall fairly early to a nice damage-boosted kill from Innovate. And they are also going to take out Marble, who is not anywhere near his Graviton Surge, because they have just now swapped to this new team composition with the Zarya and the double sniper. So looks like Marble's going to be coming back from spawn, and then we'll see them start to push in here. Innovate does have his Transcendence, which is a massive advantage in this next fight. And Ballast is already near another Graviton Surge, which is just crazy. Uh, Now, I'm not sure if Tommy realizes that Blue Dude can see him through walls if he tries to stay up there. So he's going to rotate up, try to take a different sight line. There's the Graviton Surge. They might not need any ultimates to kill anybody in it, but BitConnect is going to fall. That actually means this fight is really, really even. The res comes through, but the DPS are all down for the Honey Badgers, which means that's a huge amount of damage gone that could be getting dealt that just isn't. And now they're going to start to back up a little bit on the side of the Squiggly Boys. Wesley, unfortunately, discorded, gets caught out in the Dragon. Now they have to try to get Marble out with his charge. You can see he is high charge, but that means they don't want him to live. Unfortunately, they are going to finish him off. Sal is going to get out, it looks like. And just like I predicted, Caliber is going to swap over to the Pharah now. See if he can put in some more ranged threat. Now, interestingly enough, that might not be the best choice because Blue Dude has more than time and time again shown that he can hit those Pharahs out of the air with his arrows on the Hanzo. At this point, the Honey Badgers have a distinct ult disadvantage. Marble is coming up onto his Graviton Surge. I expect we'll see him use it a bit early on in this fight. He may not remember that Innovate has his Transcendence. Innovate's going on this weird flank off to the side. He's trying to watch the right side. Wesley is sort of managing to bully back the enemy, bully back the Squiggly Boys. The Shatter does come through, which is a lot less damage than you would want on that Graviton Surge. And the bubble manages to block the Shatter. Really well done by Marble. Mundy is out of position. If they can kill him, kill Mundy, there is no res available, which means they are a man up. Now they're going to take out BitConnect as well. Innovate still has his Transcendence, but he hasn't used it yet. It looks like he's not going to this fight, although he still definitely could. Looks like they might be taking it all the way in right now. Balance is going to touch. He's going to need a lot of healing to stay up on that cart, but it looks like it might happen. Chrysler is going to commit. He's going to fly and try to keep Balance up, but now it's just Chrysler and Blue Dude. And so Chrysler and Blue Dude are going to be forced to back up and wait for Mundy. The cart is going to go in. Caliber only managed to get one with the barrage. Not sure it was really necessary, but regardless, they do now have a little bit of momentum to move forward with. Wesley's going to land the pin onto BitConnect for an extra stagger kill. A little bit more ult charge. Now Wes is a little bit in a bad position, but it's okay. They can take up to this corner for free now. So Innovate still has his Transcendence. He's been holding it for quite a while. He's probably going to be looking for a place to use it here, or he might be holding it for Marble's Graviton Surge. Both Transcendences are in play, and Mundy has her Rally. If you combine the Rally with the Transcendence, it actually makes it very, very difficult to follow up with any damage over time ultimate. So there is the ultimate, the Graviton Surge out from the Honey Badgers. Not going to find anything thanks to Innovate's Transcendence and Mundy's Rally. Now the team's a little bit split. Hippo Mage had to use his Transcendence to try to keep Wesley up, and I don't think that's going to go too well because now the grab is in play from Balance. It only manages to get Marble, so that means the Dragon itself is completely wasted, but I believe the kills are coming through by other means for the rest of the Squiggly Boys, which means Hippo Mage just has to jump off and grab some extra ult charge on the way. There he is. That's going to be the end of the fight. So BitConnect is the only one to be with his ultimate on the side of the Squiggly Boys. So I expect we'll see him use that Earth Shatter in this next fight very early on, very aggressively. Tommy has his sights, and that is, while very useful as an ultimate, not quite as game-changing as the Earth Shatter. So the sights are going to get popped here. They know where everyone on the Squiggly Boys are, but that's not really doing anything for them. There's not anywhere they can really get to. Tommy's got a nice little high ground position up here. Wesley goes for a Mind Game Shatter through the cart, but it's not going to find anything. Meanwhile, BitConnect gets 4 with Marble down in front, and he's still going to die. Unfortunately, Wesley did not correctly track BitConnect's Earth Shatter, and he just sort of let it through on accident. That is unfortunate. It happens. And at this point, Caliber is on the McCree as well. I just noticed that. So the double hit scan is a very interesting decision. The extra burst damage will probably be a little bit more helpful against Mundy's Rally armor, but perhaps not too much more helpful than the Pharah or maybe even a Junkrat might have been. So we're going to see the Honey Badgers are pushing forward now. Marble's trying to collect some of that charge so he can get up another grab, but they might not realize Balance already has his. Hippo Mage is there with the Transcendence. They can't damage boost the Dragons. They have to get back before Wesley dies, but that's not going to happen. BitConnect is already near his next Shatter. If he can build it fast, he could end the team fight completely right here. Looks like they're already in retreat mode. Marble's very low. He's got to play that crate so that he doesn't die. There's the Deadeye coming out. He's going to find Blue Dude, but he's going to die in the process. They're going to trade. Looks like the res is going to come in from both sides, which makes this an even fight. Innovate still has his Transcendence. I don't believe it's the same Transcendence from earlier, but he does have it, and Hippo Mage does not. Chrysler is going to Chrysler's gonna fall very early on. Marble is getting aggressive. He's looking for the grab, and they know it, so they're spreading out. They don't want to give it to him for free. Now they're getting pretty close. He's probably gonna take it here. Wesley is gonna try to block the Earth Shatter, but unfortunately he's standing on the payload. The squishies still get hit. Nothing will come of it. Hippo Mage is gonna fall, but so is BitConnect. There's another grab out from Ballots. Marble did not manage to get anything with his grab, so this is probably where the progress will stop for the Honey Badgers. Some great play on both sides. Lots of mind games with those shatters and there's those graviton surges, making it very difficult for each other to keep track of everything. So now we're going to swap things up. I wonder if the Squiggly Boys will try to emulate that unblockable strategy that we saw the Honey Badgers pull off. They could know how. It's a fairly straightforward strategy. It's basically just dive with a very brawl-heavy team composition. I'm not sure how else to describe it, to be totally honest. You position like you're playing a brawl-heavy team comp, avoid spam, get up close, then you speed up in, and you focus someone down with damage that can't be stopped by anything. It's actually proven to be very, very effective in contenders so far. Played mostly on King of the Hill, but I've seen a lot of teams not in contenders making it work on first point hybrid like we saw earlier. So it looks like the Squiggly Boys are going to lock in with the triple tank with a Hammond that we saw earlier, which is very, very interesting. We're going to see if it works a little bit better on King's Row, where it's a little bit smaller, and Moira should have a bit of an easier time keeping everybody healed up. Now, perhaps predicting this sort of strategy coming out from the Squiggly Boys, Tommy is going to be on the Junkrat. Lots of spam damage into a lot of high HP targets with big hitboxes actually means that he should get a Riptire fairly quickly, especially with no defense matrix to help eat those bombs. Now, there's also Caliber on the Pharah. I think it's safe to say they are expecting some sort of brawl-heavy team composition from the Squiggly Boys because they do have the double spam locked in for their DPS picks. And interestingly enough, they do not have a Lucio, which would normally be used to continually kite the brawl-heavy team composition and allow them plenty of time to find those frags that they need before they can move in. So as the doors open, we're going to see that 3-tank lineup roll through. At this point, Caliber knows instantly what's happening. Blue Dude's going to go in really aggressively. Pile drive, that actually slows down the speed at which they can disengage. Wesley might fall really, really quickly here. The spam damage doesn't seem to be finding much. It is going to get Innovate. They cut it very, very close with that damage. Hippo Mage is trying to call out those discords, but it's getting very difficult because of the massive bodies that's on the point right now. At this point, the Honey Badgers don't really have a point, a chance. I can't speak. They don't really have a choice. Sal's going to go for a very aggressive res. The bubble is there from Marble. That makes this a fair fight. BitConnect is in the back. He's close to his shatter. He could find something, but West is going to manage to take out Innovate with no healing. This should go to the side of the Honey Badgers. It's just Ballots, who's already near his own Graviton Surge. He could absolutely use it here and take the point all for himself. It doesn't look like he's going to, but he definitely could. Doesn't look like he even needs it. That was very, very unfortunate for the side of the Honey Badgers. I think a Lucio might have been what they needed to back up and make sure they didn't get engaged on so hard. Unfortunately, moving into this next fight, the Graviton Surge is already in play from Ballots because of course it is. And then on the side of the Honey Badgers, we have both DPS ultimates already up and running. They're going to need to be very careful not to get that Riptire destroyed if they want to make any space for the Pharah with it, which looks like they might be doing here. Riptide is going to go up top. It just needs one person. Don't take the Moira. It did get the Moira. No Fade was there to stop it. So that's 2 supports down. If I were the Honey Badgers right now, I would be moving in. I want those stagger kills. I want that ult charge. That's 3 tanks and a Brigitta's worth of ult charge. Doesn't look like anything's going to come of it, though, because the rest of the Squiggly Boys are going to be backing up. Now, they do have a Transcendence available on the side of the Honey Badgers. Probably at this point, they know Ballots Cannon is going to have his grab because they know Ballots has been staying really high charge for most of this game. They're going to send Blue Dude up onto the high ground to contest the Junkrat. There's the grab. The Transcendence comes out, which allows Caliber to use his ultimate while in the Graviton Surge. That is incredibly impressive. The mines here are not going to find anything, unfortunately, and that is 3 ultimates that the Squiggly Boys use to match the 3 ultimates committed by the Honey Badgers, but it went to the Honey Badgers' favor, which is unfortunate for the Squiggly Boys. Marble is getting very close to his own Graviton Surge. Now, combining the Graviton Surge with a Valk's worth of damage boost, that is actually enough to finish out a fight as is with no beat drop and Coalescence already out. They could just wait for the Coalescence to end, and that's when they would want to use their own grav. They need to get in there. Something needs to be done to actually follow up with damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Wesley had a hard time dropping his shield to get in there really aggressively because Blue Dude was there with the sniper spot, and you can't drop your shield in front of the sniper. I told you guys this earlier. Well, anyways, looks like the rest of the Squiggly Boys are going to be moving forward now. This is a fairly even fight so far. We're going to get a really early Riptire out from Tommy. That's an interesting choice. He's probably planning on swapping. Unfortunately, Caliber gets picked very early on by Blue Dude, who does not seem to be watching too intently. The Riptire is not going to find anything, but I expect we'll see Tommy swapping to a Widowmaker. Now, at this point, neither DPS is with the Honey Badgers at this point, which means there is a distinct advantage for this last fight here for the Squiggly Boys. This is the last chance for Honey Badgers to get him off in point 2. That Shatter is going to completely whiff, and Wesley's going to fall because he went for the Fire Strike. The grab is there, and there's no trance to stop it. It looks like this is going to be second point for the Squiggly Boys with 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and they only barely have to get it to the end of the third point. This is in the favor of the Squiggly Boys. However, the Honey Badgers does have their own Transcendence, and with very few ultimates available on the side of the Squiggly Boys, they can move in. They need to have somebody on Blue Dude, though, if they want to be able to move anywhere. They need to be winning those sniper duels, or they need to have somebody committed to stopping Blue Dude from taking free shots, because while Blue Dude is there, people are going to keep dying. Just as I say that, Tommy's there right out the side. He's going to take out Blue Dude. Now that perch that was Blue Dude's is his. He's got a nice sight line and a pocket from a Mercy. He just needs to hit a few shots, and he could win the fight outright for his team. Now, if I were the rest of Honey Badgers, I would be committing to this fight. They know BitConnect has Earth Shatter. That's why Wesley is playing so carefully. He's trying to bait it out. He's going to go for a charge, which is really dangerous. Wesley might end up dying here because of that charge. He is going to die. The Dragons is there to separate them, but BitConnect has the Shatter. It's going to go for Sal. Does manage to stop him. The Transcendence keeps him alive, but the res did not go through. Balance is down, which means that is no energy and less ult charge for him. Money's still going to move forward, try to take out Marble. Tommy is getting completely oppressed by Blue Dude. The cart might roll in right now. They can't touch. Unfortunately, they got pulled off to the side. Nothing they could really do about that. They would have had to commit somebody to the point, and they would have died anyways. Second map, Kings Row, will go to the Honey Badgers. Well played to everybody involved. Let's watch this nice play of the game from BitConnect. It's a nice block. He saw it coming. Goes for the 4. Manages to get both supports and Caliber and the Zarya all in the same Shatter. That's an absolutely massive play from BitConnect. Look at those high energy kills. That is insane from Ballad's Cannon. 36 high energy kills, 39 eliminations. That is incredible. That is just consistently high energy the whole time through. Now at this point, it is the Honey Badgers' choice for the next map, and we are 1-1 on the score right now. So we'll have to see where it goes from here. We'll have to see where the Honey Badgers would like to go in the world next, meaning the map. It's not like we're buying them plane tickets or anything like that. That would be dumb and expensive. Mostly dumb, because why would we do that? Welcome to Spark trying to fill dead air as a caster. It's easy to make fun of the casters in Overwatch League. It's way harder to do than you might expect. Still waiting here. Looks like we are going to get Gibraltar is the Honey Badgers' decision for where they would like to go next in regards to the maps. Just waiting on us to say that we're ready. Squiggly Boys get to pick side. Now, we have not seen a lot of Gibraltar get played here so far in Siege, which is very interesting. I'm very curious to see what strategies the Honey Badgers have prepared for Watchpoint Gibraltar. And we will be getting started in just a few seconds. Loading into the map now.
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Now here on Gibraltar, there's a lot of sight lines. You can absolutely expect to see some more Hanzo from Blue Dude and some Widowmaker from somebody. I'm sure Tommy will definitely be occupying that Widowmaker spot on his team right now. Now, also something that's been very interesting recently coming up in contenders is a Sombra pick, who has been gaining pick popularity ever since she got her rework in the pro scene. Now, I don't know if we will see Sombra here on Gibraltar, because it's not the most Sombra friendly map. Although, as far as Sombra friendly maps go, it's not bad. And I did see Blue Dude toying with the Sombra pick early on in the select your hero phase. So with a minute left until the game actually begins, let's see what the defenders over on the side of the Squiggly Boys have locked in. Looks like we're going to have a dive here. They're going to put Mundi on the Gita, probably to stay by Innovate and Chrysler. They want to make sure that nobody is getting behind them like a Tracer or a Sombra. They want to be careful that nothing bad should happen to Innovate before he manages to get those Transcendences up. I just had a very strange urge to say Transcendi, as in multiple of Transcendences. I don't know where that came from, but for some reason, that's what my mouth wanted to say. Anyways, on the attacking team from the Honey Badgers, looks like we're going to have a Pharmacy dive, which is a very interesting choice. You don't usually see Pharmacy too much on Gibraltar because the Widowmaker is so common. They might not realize exactly the fact that that's going to give them an advantage here because there is no real hit scan to stop them on the side of the Squiggly Boys. Very interesting decision that will likely pay off. Wesley is going to go contest the bridge here. Mundi is waiting to push him back off, but doesn't really need to. Balance is just going to pressure Sal a little bit, force him to back off, give Caliber a little less healing. Wesley's going to chase the Zen. He's alone. Unfortunately, Innovate caught out of position. He's going to die. Now it's a really easy case with just guarding that, guarding that corpse so they can't be res. Tommy's even got the pocket right now from his nice mercy Sal. He's going to take some free shots, take out Mundi. Now they can move forward and they get to guard these nice little choke points with the doors. Make sure that the rest of the Squiggly Boys don't have a great opportunity to come back. Now I'm interested to see if we see Mundi or someone else on the rest of the Squiggly Boys swapping over to a hit scan to deal with Caliber on that far, because I feel like it is going to be a problem. Wesley's very low. Balance is going to chase. Now, unfortunately, Sal's going to go for the res, and I'm not sure there's anything Balance can do about it, and he's going to get demeched for that, too. That's unfortunate for him. Sal is half. No, he's going to get healed back up by his self-healing. Hippo Mage also not able to be followed up on when he gets low. At this point, Wesley is just going ham on the supports of the Squiggly Boys, and he's going to take out all three of them with his Primal Rage, and thanks to a little bit of support from his, well, supports. Coming into this next fight, Balance does have self-destruct. Actually, no, that might have been his mech charge because he was demeched. And Caliber has his rocket barrage, and Tommy has his sights. The ult advantage is definitely on the side of the Honey Badgers, and I expect we'll see them pop sights about 5 seconds after Blue Dude respawns. That is what I've been training Tommy to do. I work with Tommy. There it is. I'm glad to see he remembers. And I expect he'll use that to allow Caliber to set something up, but he's going to die to the reflected rocket barrage from Blue Dude. That's an absolutely massive play that's not even resable. This is absolutely the opportunity that they needed. They're going to go in with the Dragon Blade, take out Sal. Now they're going to get on top of somebody else. It's going to be Wesley, it looks like. Blue Dude actually had to be was a little bit pressured, so he backed out. The fight is definitely still going to go to the Squiggly Boys in blue. They're going to chase him back now into that convenient little choke point we talked about earlier. Now, at this point, Balance Cannon does genuinely have his self-destruct. Blue Dude managed to chase something out very aggressively. Unfortunately, he got punished for that, so he's going to be falling very early on. BitConnect and the rest of the Squiggly Boys are going to have to back up a little bit. They have to respect Tommy's line of sight. You know, I've been drilling that into you guys' head for a few matches now. Now it looks like Tommy's going to rotate around the right side, but unfortunately Blue Dude's waiting for him. The res is there. That was very, very... The self-destruct almost got caught in the bubble, but not quite. And Marble's going to land that triple kill, which is more than enough for them to surge forward, just eat up the rest of the Squiggly Boys and take it for free. Innovate's actually making an interesting decision to stay behind, which is unfortunate. He probably should have just moved onto the cart in an attempt to get killed, because now he is actually going to get staggered. That said, he did manage to land a kill on the Hippo Mage, which is some nice ult charge, but he's still going to get staggered, and Caliber interestingly, is also going to fall to Blue Dude. I do expect we'll see Caliber swap off after he uses this next barrage. That's probably what he's getting aggressive to do right now, because Pharah on this point is not going to be the best decision considering just how powerful Widowmaker can be. Now, Wesley is going to pop his ultimate so he can try to chase Chrysler, but it's not going to happen. He's going to keep going with it. Chrysler's got the support he needs to survive. Sal might get caught by the self-destruct. He will. That is unfortunate for the Honey Badgers, and they can even stagger Marble if they want. Just leave him out of mech. It doesn't look like they're going to do that. They're just going to finish him off for the ult charge, and then it looks like the rest of the Honey Badgers will be able to get back to their spawn safely. Blue Dude's going to get a little bit aggressive here. See if he can land a nice cheeky kill onto Tommy, or if Tommy can do the same to him. That is unfortunate for Blue Dude. Now the rest of the Honey Badgers are going to move forward. They have an advantage. That was unfortunate for the Squiggly Boys. Looks like Ballas is going to use his thrusters a little bit early in the fight. This could be the opportunity they need to launch a dive. The thrusters should be back any moment now, though. So Ballas will be able to get out, but not before he gets demeched. Now Tommy is set up nicely on the high ground. The only thing that can really contest him is Blue Dude, and Wesley's going to make sure that doesn't happen with a nice, well-placed bubble in his face. The self-destruct is going to come in, and it is not quite going to get anybody. That was some really nice timing from Chrysler. That is going to be the rocket barrage out from Caliber, but Blue Dude's going to take him out mid-ultimate. Tommy's going to take out Blue Dude as well. Wesley's popping his ultimate. He wants to try to push people away from that cart for a little bit more free push. Unfortunately, the respawns are going to be in the favor of the Squiggly Boys. It may be time to back out for a soft regroup. That said, the respawns are just now getting back, and they did manage to take out Chrysler and demech Ballas. That forces out the self-destruct. They can move in immediately now. Chrysler has just now respawned. And Tommy's going to take out Blue Dude. Tommy has been getting the better of Blue Dude ever so slightly over the course of these games so far. Innovate's also going to fall. This is a two-man advantage thanks to Hippomage's Transcendence. That self-destruct might also get someone. It's going to take out Ballas' mech. Big Connect over there on the point just trying to stay alive. He's going to retreat. He knows he can't stay alive there, so he's going to try to get back to his spawn, but it's not quite going to be enough. Looks like the Honey Badgers might be able to push it in right now. They take out Blue Dude really fast. Nothing you can do about it. The jump is there from Big Connect. This could be enough for the rest of the Squiggly Boys to get out and really make a stand with that rally, but it's really unlikely. They need to last just a little bit longer. That armor's making it really hard for the Honey Badgers to actually finish off the kills. And they do manage to take out Hippomage and Caliber, but it's still in the favor of the Honey Badgers ever so slightly. Marble's gonna get demeched. This is slowly turning into a fight for the Squiggly Boys. They just have to make sure they stay on the cart. They can't let it push that extra half meter. This is some really great trickle coming in from the Squiggly Boys. Looks like they are gonna manage to keep the point, but just barely. And even then, it's still on the line because Chrysler has also been killed. Again, they need to keep the point pressure up on the side of the Honey Badgers to make sure that people do not have a chance to recuperate. The bubble's down. The self-destruct's not going to find anything. Honey Badgers are moving back in. It's just Blue Dude. This is the chance they needed. Chrysler's back. He's going to go for a res. He's going to get it off. He's going to manage to res Bit Connect, and the extra HP pool might be enough for money to get back, which it is. This trickle is just going to go on for years and years. It is finally going to get into the finish line. That was a very long stagger fight. Oh. Some really great Overwatch play from both teams yet again. They're definitely improving. They are learning as they play about how they need to respond to the things that the other team does. It's very interesting to see. So now, as the team swap sides, we're going to have to see what they want to lock in here. I don't believe Blue Dude really wants to play Bastion, but he might be trying to convince his team otherwise right now. I just got a feeling. Now, I would very much love to see Sal. Ana has been getting ran more in contenders. Didn't even require the nano boost buff to go through. So Ana definitely has a spot now in the meta, and I would love to see Sal actually make use of it. It looks like Marble is going to actually swap with Sal, so no, does not look like we're going to get an Ana in play here this map, unfortunately. As fun as Ana is to watch, can make some really amazing plays. So it actually might seem to be that we have a Bastion team composition coming out on the attack from Squiggly Boys. They know they have to finish with time left, and the only way to do that might be to get some free time off the front with a Bastion, because as we all know, anything can work once. Anything can work once. And we did have the double barrier here with the Reinhardt from BitConnect and the Orisa from Ballots Cannon. And Mundy's going to go on the Diva, possibly, which is a very interesting team composition. I've never quite seen this one. Tommy's just going to do some scouting here. He's going to take a little bit of a gamble that nobody is watching him right now. See if he can see anybody coming out of the spawn door. Marble might be here to defense matrix him while he does that. Does not look like that's happening. Now they know there's a Bastion in play. They need to be changing how they play immediately. They have to go for an aggressive dive onto the Bastion, force it off the cart so that it can't actually do any damage. They need to get on top of it. Mundy is going to go pressure Sal. That forces the cooldown off of Wesley to go make Mundy go away. And that's going to mean some free cart push for the Squiggly Boys as they don't have cooldowns to expend on the Bastion. It's going to be really hard to dive them now on the point. Mundy gets demech'd just as Chrysler goes for the res, and Chrysler manages to fall early on to Marble. That is very, very unlucky for the side of the Squiggly Boys. The double barrier Bastion is still on the cart. They are actually making some pretty significant cart progress. Caliber is there to touch, but have to be really careful. The Pulse Bomb is there, and BitConnect is very, very low now. This should go for the side of the Honey Badgers here. But they cut that very, very close, having to use that early on mobility just to peel for someone when really you want to be using those cooldowns to shut down the dive target. That was very unlucky. They got all the way around the corner thanks to that, and really you could have gotten them off even faster. Wesley is close to his Primal Rage, and Tommy his wall hacks over there. And those would be the only two ultimates near in play. Marble does need to get his mech back, however. So I don't know, if I'm Marble, maybe I even go back to spawn and swap heroes so the enemy doesn't see you jump off, and just swap back to the Diva to get my mech back. Unfortunately, the mech does not look like it's going to be... Oh, no, he is going to get it back in play at the last second here, but he's got to be really, really fast about it. Got to get in that mech ASAP, my dude. Sal's going to try to get somewhere safer. Ballots tries to chase, but not going to get anything out of it. Blue Dude manages to fall to a nice shot from Tommy very early on in this fight. Tommy's going to get forced off. Very unfortunate that they didn't actually manage to get the kill. Tommy tries to move back up out of the high ground just at the same moment. BitConnect takes it from him. Wesley manages to fall in the back line to Blue Dude. Sal goes for a very, very confident res. Very sure that Blue Dude will not land the one clip on him. It looks like at this point, Tommy's setting up on the further back high ground. Tracer looks like looks like Blue Dude is going to contest Tommy. The Venom Mine's triggered. Sal is going to fall very early on in the fight. If Tommy wins the duel with Blue Dude, that is absolutely going to go in his favor, but that's not going to happen. Hippo Mage will also fall, so it looks like this will go to the Squiggly Boys, but just barely. The Pulse Bomb is going to get used. Primal Rage actually manages to take out two. This is completely winnable from the Honey Badgers. They still have the core of their team, just a little bit of health missing. Caliber manages to land the one clip onto Chrysler when he went for that res. That is unfortunate for them. I'm saying things are unfortunate because lots of things are unfortunate. I've said it many times, and I will continue to say it as things continue to be unfortunate. Blue Dude's going to go up to contest this high ground that was very iffy. That shot almost managed to land the headshot. Going to have to self-destruct here from Ballots just to re-mech. They are going to take this high ground from them. That makes it a lot more difficult for Tommy to take free shots. Hippo Mage is going to be the first to die, and with no grappling hook to escape, BitConnect is going to get on top of Tommy. That's lots of Tommy. That's lots of frags coming through from the Squiggly Boys. This should be enough to cap this point to completion. Unfortunately for the Squiggly Boys, lots of ultimates are in play now for the Honey Badgers, and if they had a speed boost, I might even say that this is actually contestable from the Honey Badgers. They could actually still hold this here. It looks like they might be trying. They are going to send someone on a point. They're going to contest with the Transcendence. Wesley unfortunately gets picked very early on by Ballots. The self-destruct is there. It's going to find Blue Dude. Sal is also down, which is unfortunate again. Innovate is going to be forced to use his own Transcendence to secure this point, but I think it will work. They are now going to send Ballots up to make sure Tommy is not taking free shots. He's going to get deleted. This is going to go for the Squiggly Boys. Wesley's going to get back, but only in time to buy another 5 seconds worth of time off that time make. That is great play off the Honey Badgers, though. They managed to recontest for a very long time and force it into overtime. They used quite a few ultimates to do it, however, with the Widow Sights, the Pulse Bomb, the Transcendence, and even the Self-Destruct, I believe. Hippo Mage is going to get picked here. Innovate's going for another shot onto either Tommy or someone else, but he's very, very low. He's going to need some healing from someone. Backs out. Looks like he's going to get it. Now, Interestingly enough, we have Wesley taking up on this high ground. He's going to be contested by Ballots. Ballots is going to wave at him as he forces him to back up. Innovate manages to land a nice kill onto the Widowmaker of Tommy. The Tracer is trying to get into position to finish it off, but he's only going to have to settle for Hippo Mage with a Pulse Bomb instead, which, you know what, that's fair. That's still a huge damage dealer. At this point, the Honey Badgers aren't really in a good position to contest. They haven't been given any time to take the positions that they want. They're just going to have to throw bodies on point and hope to stall out for a little bit longer, as the second point does get almost effortlessly capped by the Squiggly Boys. Now at this point, they are set to finish with about as much time as the Honey Badgers had, but they need to push it to completion right now. They can't get knocked off the point at this stage, because if they do, they will finish with less time than the Honey Badgers had. It would take a miracle for that not to happen. Miles Cannon and BitConnect both have their ultimates, so they'll probably look to initiate here with a Primal Rage since they don't have many other options. Tommy's Infrasight is in play now, so they know where the rest of the Squiggly Boys are. They're going to throw in the self-destruct, see if that's going to find any kills. It is going to get Tommy. That was a very well-placed bomb. Tommy thought he could hide just by stepping inside, but unfortunately that wasn't going to happen. BitConnect is going to commit his jump and his Primal Rage to killing Hippo Mage. That is 2 kills. That's the exact 2 kills that they needed between Tommy and Hippo Mage. Looks like Tommy's going to be coming out now, and as the bubble falls, it looks like Marble and Wesley do have the Squiggly Boys out positioned. Sal's gonna fall, but the Transcendence does mean the touch is still there while the tanks move around and try to decide how to go about what they want to do. There's a nice self-destruct. It's gonna get rid of Mundy's shield, but now the Deadeye is there, and that's gonna zone the rest of the team from the Honey Badgers out behind the cart. Looks like they might C9. Wesley manages to get right back onto the point at the last second. There is a really good spawn advantage for the Honey Badgers, but it might not be enough. Hippo Mage is getting CC'd off, and with just barely more time than the Honey Badgers, the Squiggly Boys are going to finish the map. That means it is 3-3 right now, and both teams have about a minute and a half remaining. Give or take 20 seconds. So here we'll have the Honey Badgers on in red yet again. So we're it's very interesting. We're seeing lots of adaptations to each other, like I said before. The tank combinations are very distinctly changing their play styles. For instance, Wesley has been getting more and more aggressive on the Winston as the game goes on, to accommodate for the fact that there are lots of openings he's finding. That sort of forced Mundy to be staying on this Brigitte role. Looks like Innovate may be on the Sombra here. They haven't fully decided on their team composition, but it looks like Innovate is going to be sticking with the Sombra. And it looks like they are also sticking with a Bastion. This is a very interesting strategy that they're pulling out. Absolutely one to watch. I would love to see how this plays out. They might be sticking a Bastion down here underneath. And they're going to have BitConnect go Reinhardt to shield him. Meanwhile, on the side of the Honey Badgers, they're going to have more of a standard dive composition. They have their Pharah and their Widowmaker yet again. So Wesley's going to move up to the high ground. He doesn't see anything there. He's not sure what to think. So they're going to have to move out somewhere. Now, the rest of the Squiggly Boys have to be really careful not to give away they have a Bastion, and they might know now because of the angle. Yep, now the Honey Badgers do know that there's a Bastion in play. They're going to be forcing them to LOS the rest of the Squiggly Boys with the cart as they move forward here very slowly. They do manage to demech Marble. Sal gets hacked. That's not going to lead to too much. With only 60 seconds remaining, they can't fall prey to this Bastion strat. If they get knocked off more than once, it's over. Marble is just wanting them to kill him very early on now so that he can have a chance to respawn and try again. They got to keep Hippo Mage up. Balance is already high energy. He's trying to work on farming up a fast Graviton Surge. He knows he's capable of it. Caliber is going to go out behind. See if he can land some nice shots. Unfortunately, he's going to get hacked in a horrible position. That might be exactly why Innovate went on the Sombra. They might even have expected that exact flank. Unlikely, but entirely possible. Now, the Honey Badgers are down a player now, and the Squiggly Boys have established Blue Dude on the cart. At this point, the Transcendence should not have been popped right here. They're still waiting for Caliber to get back. Sal is going to get instantly killed by Blue Dude with the tank form. At this point, Blue Dude does fall, but both of the supports are down for the Honey Badgers, and Blue Dude is even going to get res. The Earth Shatter is there, and I don't think we'll be seeing the Honey Badgers get much further than they are now. And as unfortunate as this looks for the Honey Badgers, this is actually very, very winnable. They can use a similar strat, or they can use a very aggressive dive composition to make sure that they don't get much farther. With only a minute and a half to hold, that's doable. That's doable. I've held at that point on Gibraltar. I've been held at that point on Gibraltar. It's not fun, but it's not unwinnable. Now, ideally, you might expect something a little bit cheeky again from the Squiggly Boys, since they know they only need to make it a very short distance. They don't have to play anything in the long game. They can do one of those strats that will only work once. Putting their own Bastion on the cart may even be the best idea here. That said, they don't have to get it very far, so it might not even be worth it. And instead, perhaps they should just do something designed to catch dives, because really, the only two options that the rest of the Honey Badgers have at this point, since they have to hold it so aggressively, is a very aggressive dive composition or a Bastion of their own. So knowing that, it should be very easy for the Squiggly Boys to pick around what they expect the Honey Badgers to run. So I expect we would see perhaps Mundi go back onto the Brigitte to help catch dives, and then a Sombra is also absolutely a good choice in case they have to run a Bastion. I think that would be a fantastic combination of things to run for this particular strategy. Now, Caliber is going to be setting up top rather than down low, perhaps to help Tommy make some space with the rockets. Don't want Tommy to be isolated from his healers. Blue Dude is aware now that they have the Bastion. They're going to be applying some pressure here onto the cart. Caliber's getting some nice alt charge already. BitConnect's shield is already pretty much gone. In fact, it is gone. Caliber is already being forced to back up a little bit. Wesley is unfortunately going to get picked. Blue Dude in the back. That's going to make it really difficult to res. Someone has to get down there and touch the point right now. It's going to be Marble's job. He is going to get there, but unfortunately, Sal is going to fall. So it looks like this is probably going to go to the Squiggly Boys immediately. Some very well played strategies. Take a moment to say some stuff in my own Twitch chat. You'll hear me say that 2 minutes after I actually said it, though, in the Twitch chat. It's a nice play of the game from Marble here. It's a triple kill. Honey Badgers will be picking the next map, and at this point, the score is 2-1 Squiggly Boys. So far, some great games, very even. Could still go either way, 100%. We'll have to see where the Honey Badgers want for their next map. It was unfortunate that the Watchpoint Gibraltar pick didn't quite work out for them. They had a strong start on the King of the Hill map. Unfortunately, it does not look like that's happening. If they can get it to a tiebreaker and force it... 1 second. If they can get it to a tiebreaker and force it onto the Ilios tiebreaker, they can show their King of the Hill prowess again and take home a victory. But that means they have to win at least one more map to bring it to that point. So we're just waiting now while the Honey Badgers discuss their map pick. So as I was saying before, the tank lineups have been especially trying to adapt to each other. Ballots has been playing a little bit more defensively since Wesley started playing a little bit more aggressively on Gibraltar on the Winston. And I'm not sure how intentional that is, but it definitely was the case, as Ballas was spending a lot more time catching dives rather than initiating them with BitConnect. And you might notice the few times that the Squiggly Boys attempted to initiate dives onto the rest of the Honey Badgers, it did not tend to end well for the Squiggly Boys. Their dives would get caught. Someone would get picked early on because of a weakness in their defenses. And so it looks like they shifted to a more defensive play style, and that started working a lot better, especially when they took out the Bastion. That was absolutely a very smart move, and unfortunately the Honey Badgers weren't able to get on top of it quite as fast as they would have needed to. Throat's getting a little dry. Got to keep drinking. Might as well say hi in chat again. Hello, Sharkfin. Chat interaction is not standard, but I like to keep an eye on the chat, see what you guys are saying about my voice. I know it sounds ugly, but I got to know if you guys think it sounds ugly. Looks like we are going to be heading to Hanamura for the 2 CP of the match. Hanamura is the selection that Honey Badgers has picked. Just waiting on Squiggly Boys to finalize which side of the map they would like to play on, and we will get ready to, we will be ready to start the game. Now, Hanamura is really well known for some nice sniper sightlines on the first point, especially that perch on top of the choke point is really, really powerful. You can keep sending snipers up there just nonstop on cooldown, and they have a really easy disengage to get back to where their team is to make sure that they don't get killed very, very fast. So usually what you see on defense Hanamura is you need at least one sniper and you need a diva to help try to control that nonstop flow of instant kill threat that will keep showing up from the perch and from on top of the choke point. That's usually what you need to see. We saw it back in the Overwatch League. A strategy that I've been running with my team is the first point Dallas Fuel strat from Stage 3. I believe it was Stage 3 in the Overwatch League. They had Reinhardt holding the choke, and they had Diva with Mercy up guarding the perch. And it was the Diva's job almost solely to go shut down the snipers that were on top of the choke point. And then behind the Reinhardt in the courtyard, you would have a Brigitte, Mickey on Brigitte, who would be guarding the way that it would take for anyone to dive the sniper Widowmaker or Zenyatta, who are both very, very high DPS, long range damage dealers. They can absolutely carry a fight by clicking alone, which is always a plus. You always want that to be alive whenever you can help it.
Traveling to Hanamura.
All right, we are loading into the map now. Gotta adjust in my chair. Gotta lean in. Game's getting intense. This is match point for the Squiggly Boys. The Honey Badgers need to win this map. If they can take Hanamura home, they will have an opportunity to beat the Squiggly Boys on their King of the Hill, Ilios, tiebreaker. Looks like over in red, the Honey Badgers are going to lock in their own triple tank goats with a Hammond, which is very interesting. We haven't really seen them be running that today, but they're going to give it a shot. They're going to put Sal on the Mercy instead of on the Widowmaker, not the Widow, on the Lucio, which is also interesting. Meanwhile, our defense, we have the Squiggly Boys locking in a very standard Deathball team composition. You have Junkrat and Hanzo combined together. That's a lot of choke control in this team composition. So I expect they almost entirely want to make sure the enemy team doesn't get through the choke point. That's putting a lot onto the fact that they won't have snipers on the attacking team. The attacking team will be given many opportunities after they butt their heads against it the first time to swap to a double sniper composition, which may be the best choice if it comes to it. Our referee is telling me that she supports the Squiggly Badgers. I too am rooting for the Squiggly Badgers. I've had lots of people come to me and ask for me to root for them, and I have just had to say I'm rooting for everybody because I'm not allowed to have favorites. The Canadian Squiggly Badgers. So again, this is a lot of very tight choke control. I don't want to see the Squiggly Boys holding back here. They need to be putting a lot of eggs into the basket of keeping people in the choke point and getting picks like that. Unfortunately, it's a very tank-heavy team composition coming out from the side of the Honey Badgers like we discussed before, so that's not going to happen. Now, the Honey Badgers do have an advantage here as long as they can actually get into the brawl, which it looks like is going to happen. The rest of the Squiggly Boys are trying to kite. Mundy's trying to get kills on the Junkrat, but it's not quite happening. The bubble does mean the res is going to come off for BitConnect, but Balance is unfortunately going to get taken out on the side by the Moira and Hippo Mage. And now the Dragons is out really, really early. Caliber's incredibly low, and unfortunately Chrysler is also going to get picked, which means there's no healing from Mundy or BitConnect. This should go for the Honey Badgers very, very quickly. That's the power of a triple tank, triple healer composition. You know, lots of very fast rush down. Caliber is now rivaling Balance Cannon with those Graviton Surge charges. There's no way they could know that Caliber already has Graviton. Not possible. They will absolutely fall prey to it at this point. I don't know if it will result in the Honey Badgers taking second point easily, but they absolutely will allow the Graviton Surge to get more than one. There's Mundy and BitConnect. They're going to take out Mundy. They can probably also take out BitConnect, but he's really low. He's possibly going to make it out with that pocket from Chrysler. Mundy is still down. He's going to go for the Shatter. Wesley is onto Balance Cannon, probably expecting that the Earth Shatter is going to come through. Chrysler's going to get caught out by the self-destruct. This could be a really fast second point cap from the Honey Badgers. Some really well-placed ultimates. It's just Mundy. They need to brawl her to death and take the point. At this point, I think it's theirs. Wesley can counterpin the Reinhardt. He's absolutely going to try to get there. Nice, really fast point cap from the Honey Badgers. Over 6 minutes remaining. That is impressive. And unfortunately, for the Squiggly Boys, they even got Transcendence at the last second, which is really too bad. He was still respawning when he got it. Well, as I like to say, the solution when you are down by so much of a time bank is to just play better. Outplay the enemy team, cap faster. Duh. It's very straightforward. So here on the Squiggly Boys, they are also going to be running that team comp. Very, very interesting. We'll see if on the defense, the Honey Badgers are going to be expecting it. No, it looks like the Honey Badgers are actually going to lock in the Dallas Fuel first point comp that I mentioned just earlier. What are the odds? That'll be very nice to see. You can see it in action. Assuming they've been practicing it in their scrimmage matches, we'll be able to see Marvel really shut down those snipers, and we'll see how it works. Unfortunately, those snipers that they're going to be shutting down are not in play. So first things first, they'll have to deal with that really aggressive tank-heavy team composition. It could go the exact same way it went for the Squiggly Boys. And they're going to have to put a lot of faith into Hippo Mage and Tommy to really hit those shots and land damage onto the damage-boosted targets with the Discord and Sal's damage boost. If they don't do that, if they don't manage to take out Squishies on the side of the Squiggly Boys, they will lose first point. Because you can't get into a point brawl with a tank-heavy team composition. It just won't work. You can't do it unless you've taken out some significant member of their team, something like a Moira or the Brigitte. Even the Lucio, once they're already on point, is not that big of a threat. It's really got to be the Moira or the Brigitte or the Reinhardt. If you can get one of them, you really have a chance to move in and start to take the fight a man up. Tommy's going to be positioned here. He's going to get a damage boost from Sal for an early on pick, see if he can at least scout out what they've got. She knows they've got a Reinhardt, Tommy does. Blue dude's off to the left. Hard to tell if they saw him. They probably did. Now they definitely have. So now they know what's happening. You can see Wesley is starting to back away from the choke. He doesn't want to take that brawl. He's just got to keep backing away. Unfortunately, the pile driver's there. It might find something. It doesn't. That's a perfect pick on Innovate. That's exactly what they needed. Now the bulk of the healing is gone, so this could still go to the Honey Badgers. Unfortunately, Sal's going to get caught out by BitConnect, which means there's no healing left for the Honey Badgers. So the Squiggly Boys are actually probably still going to cap first point very, very quickly, as is the way with tank-heavy team compositions with lots of healing. And this time, for the first time, Ballots does not have his ultimate in the first 40 seconds of the game. What are the odds? Now, immediately, the Honey Badgers are gonna swap off to something that can deal with the triple tank composition a little bit easier. They're gonna have a pharmacy now, and they're gonna keep Tommy on the Widowmaker. They know that those picks are gonna be vital, so they're gonna take a lot of those long-range picks, I guess. Blue Dude's gonna go in aggressively, not gonna find anything with the pile drive. Mage getting might get punished for that. He is punished for that. At this point, Wesley is on point pretty much alone. He's got the pocket from Sal, but they need to be getting kills. If they don't get kills, it's not going to work. They need Caliber to manage to land shots on something. And while he is landing shots, there's just so much healing. It's very, very difficult for anything to actually come of it. We could be seeing two very, very fast point caps at almost the exact same amount of time. The respawns are coming in. Wesley's gonna almost land a pin. He manages to take Mundy and pin him into the counter pin. Wesley is now alone, zoned off the point by the mines, and the grab is gonna guarantee them at least a tick, or maybe not. Caliber is there with the barrage, so it looks like they are gonna manage to at least get some point presence, and it does not look like the Squiggly Boys will cap all the way to completion here on this first push, but they did get halfway. That is really good for the Squiggly Boys, even if they don't have the same time bank that the Honey Badgers did. Looks like Chrysler is just gonna get out now. Or Chrysler? Is it Chrysler or Chrysler? I think it's Chrysler, but can someone explain the English language to me? Why does having an H behind that C turn it into Chrysler? Like, I don't understand that. It should be like, it should be Chrysler or just Chrysler again, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know English. I don't know English. So here we have the Squiggly Boys pushing up through the left side. They're going to keep with a bit of a brawly team composition, but they have Blue Dude on the move. McCree now, which is interesting. They want some long-range damage to contest the Widowmaker, but the McCree might not be the best choice. Indeed, he is going to fall to Tommy, and they don't have a Mercy to res, which means they need to just back out and be very careful with how they play this. And it looks like the tank lineup of the Honey Badgers is going to move to contest them, but there's not really any need. And at this point, McCree is just now returning. Not McCree, Hanzo. Blue just swapped over to the Hanzo. He's going to go for a flank, it looks like, potentially. No, he's just getting back up. So they are coming back in now. They have to get somebody on Tommy because those free shots are going to make Blue Dude's life really, really difficult. Mundy manages to knock Wesley off the high ground. That's a really great opportunity for them to take the high ground for their own use. That means they now have a really nice spot to try to land some frags. Unfortunately, the shatter comes through onto BitConnect and Blue Dude from Wesley. That's a really well-placed shatter. And Sal's just sort of sitting on that lantern, damage boosting who needs to be damage boosted. He's very, very lucky that nobody was looking at him and able to just kill him immediately. Anyways, it's going to be right back to spawn for the Squiggly Boys yet again. Now, at this point, they are under some pressure. They need to finish this out fast because otherwise they will have a significant disadvantage when it comes to the time bank. Looks like they're going to be going top left again. No huge composition changes. Probably trying to save up for dragons. That is unfortunate. Is picked again. So they are going to have to wait for him. Still no Mercy to res him back up. And here you can see firsthand why Mercy is just so good. Because if you had a Mercy, that wouldn't happen. You would be pushing right now instead of waiting. It's very unlucky. Aha, different word. Not unfortunate. Unlucky. So it looks like Blue Dude is going to be getting back now. We're going to have to see if they want to use the Graviton Surge early or if they want to wait for the Grav Dragons combo. Caliber is going to go for a nice dragon here early. Does manage to take out 2. That is a really well-timed dragon. Not really anywhere that could be gone to prevent that from killing people. Mundy's going to pop Rally just to get out alive. Doesn't want to feed the ult charge and doesn't want to go back to spawn. Very interesting decision. Tommy's taking a nice high ground perch, see if he can grab any more stagger kills. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Meanwhile, the rest of the Honey Badgers is going to reset to their normal positions and get ready for the next wave of attacks. Blue Dude has unfortunately been getting picked very early on in all of these team fights, and that's giving him a really difficult time as he tries to build up his ultimate. He's trying to peek now onto the snipers, but unfortunately this is a really nice crossfire the Honey Badgers have onto the Squiggly Boys. The Shatter only manages to take out Blue Dude. They need to keep Blue Dude up so that he can get the ult charge for the Grav Dragons. If they manage to land the Grav Dragons, that's going to get fragged out on again. Unfortunately, nothing could happen. Hippo Mage is shattered, so this could still go either way, but Tommy is uncontested up top. They need somebody on Tommy, or he's going to continue to frag out. There's a self-destruct there that's going to force the Squiggly Boys to play defensively, and when you're in the Widow line of sight, that's not what you want. Mundy's trying to take out Marble, but with the pocket there, the focus fire is not available. Ballot still has his Grav. He's been holding it for such a long time. They need to allow Blue Dude some sort of vantage point to take shots onto something, just anything to build up his ultimate, because it's taking him so long. They really needed to go top left again. Unfortunately, those 2 picks early on that were onto Blue Dude were largely his fault. The dragon was unfortunate. There's no way he really could have known exactly where the dragon was going to be. It would have had to come down to his intuition, so that was just unlucky. But the 2 other times that he got picked very early on were almost certainly at least partially up to him. And so it looks like they are going to go up left again. They do finally have their Grav Dragons available. Stop it on the side of the Honey Badgers. I do expect that this would be the time we see the Squiggly Boys finally manage to take the point. This Caliber did get picked, but the res is there for him. Oh, the Grav is going to miss. It's only going to get Hippo Mage, and the Dragon is going to get pulled into it. Innovate's going to fall really early on, and the Shatter manages to land 2. Unfortunately, that whiffed Graviton Surge could cost Balance' team the whole match. Sal is really low. He is going to fall. So this is still winnable, especially because Blue Dude managed to take out Tommy. They could still manage to get something out of this because they are fragging out. But with BitConnect down, that's a huge amount of the DPS gone. And it looks like that self-destruct is going to get another 3. Amazing play from Marble right there. Completely shut down any chance that the Squiggly Boys had to see that fight through to completion. And at this point, no ultimates are in play, although Crystler is very, very close to his sound barrier. This is an uphill battle now for the Squiggly Boys. They really need to cap it's looking like they are going to be playing for a draw anyways, which would lead to the tiebreaker. No, it would not lead to the tiebreaker. It would lead to their victory if they get a draw, actually, because they've already got an advantage in the scoring. That is some pretty good play. Just clean up at this point. Not going to really get anything from the Squiggly boys. Unfortunate for them. Apologies about that. I lost my train of thought trying to remember how the scoring works for my own tournament. I have it written down somewhere, but I don't have it right in front of me, so. So that is going to go to the Honey Badgers. That will bring it to the tiebreaker on Ilios. And this means the Honey Badgers absolutely have a good chance of winning this matchup because they have been playing very, very well on Lijiang Tower earlier, which means they absolutely have a chance to win this. It's absolutely an even fight. Could go either way. Personally, I'm going to put my money on Honey Badgers because they won the last King of the Hill map. Just a guess. Not rooting for anyone. But I do believe the Honey Badgers will have an advantage on the last King of the Hill map here. One moment. Solo casting's hard. I got to do color and play-by-play, and I got to talk to a lot of people. Ugh. All right, so we are going to be going to Ilios, as I said before. And I believe the Honey Badgers will have a small advantage here. But I could be wrong. The Squiggly boys have absolutely been super on top of their game, just not quite as on top of their game in that last map as the Honey Badgers really shut them down on Hanamura. Yeah, best of 5 Ilios for the tiebreaker map. So it all comes down to this, folks. Let's see who's going to walk away with the victory in this week's matchup between the Squiggly boys and the Honey Badgers. Ugh, voice getting dry. Cup almost out of water. Cup officially out of water. Just waiting on one person to be ready, and then we will get right into the game. Now, I personally like Ilios. I like watching Ilios games because the different points of Ilios all lend themselves to very particular metas. Not quite as extremely as with Lijiang Tower. You know, there's gardens, marketplace, or night market rather, and control center, and they all have very different metas with Pharas and Widowmakers and you know, goats comps. Ilios is sort of the same thing where you usually tend to want something a little bit more death bally on Lighthouse, and then on Ruins you need something a little more dive focused. And then in Well you tend to want to see the Orisa with either a Diva or a Roadhog, and then again either a Pharmacy or a McCree, sometimes a Widowmaker. Still waiting for a few more players just to be completely ready. We're very close to the end here, folks. I cannot wait to see how this ends. This has been a really fun game to watch so far. Both teams are at each other's necks, and I can't wait to see what sort of fun team compositions are going to be brought out for this last point. Unfortunately, it looks like some of the players need a very short break. Should only be another minute or so, but you'll have to deal with me desperately trying to fill dead air, even though I have no idea what to talk about. I can talk about my lack of knowing what to talk about, like I'm doing now. That's creative, unique, boring, but unique. Also a bit weird and very plainly desperate, but, you know, who says I'm trying to not look desperate, right? I really need more water, but I can't get up to get more water because dead air. That's too bad. I will Have to make do. Right. So the goats like composition on Hanamura that we saw from both teams, it worked really really well for the honey badgers, and then not quite as well for the squiggly boys on second point, and that was partially due to the change in picks. The honey badgers responded very very quickly to the threat, and they took a pharmacy to help deal out good chunks of damage, and that allowed them to start sort of get the ball rolling when it came to retaking the point. And the Squiggly Boys didn't do that on their defense, and that's part of why it was so one-sided. They really tried to commit to the death ball like team composition, even though it really wasn't going to work against that triple tank goats like composition. But that would be why it was so one-sided, is definitely those picks that came into play. And the first point strategies on defense never really even came into play because clearly neither team was expecting the other one to run such a sustain heavy team composition. So I believe we are about ready to play. And just waiting on one more player to say that they're ready. Come on, you can do it. I want to cast. I want to cast more. It's fun. I have been enjoying it. I love casting for Siege. These games are a lot of fun. Very entertaining to watch. And surprisingly, given that there are no rank restrictions in Siege, all of the games are very, very even. Most of the mistakes that you see do come down to team-based plays and not individual mistakes. Some of the team fights do end up being because of some issues with individual skill level on players. Just sometimes I would say a good few times a map, but not enough to really change the pace of a whole map, from what I can tell, or a whole match. For the most part, the games are really, really even. They've been an absolute pleasure to watch.
Now arriving at Ilios.
So we are going to be starting off on Well. And as I said before, I expect to see possibly some pharmacies coming out. We will almost definitely see at least one Orisa, because halting people into a pit is not only very, very useful, but it's really fun. It's just so fun. I mean, if you've ever halted multiple people off the edge of the map, you know what I'm talking about. It's so satisfying. The clicks when you pull them off and you get all those hit markers, it's just great. So it looks like neither team is really settled into their team composition just yet. We're still in the assemble your heroes phase, so it's entirely possible we will see something completely different from the picks that we're seeing right now. Tommy could stay on the soldier, but soldier has been very, very much so less useful than other hit scans in recent metas due to the lack of burst damage, and the increase in armor from Brigitte especially has made soldier a little bit less impactful, since it's his damage isn't halved like Tracer's or Winston's is, but it still is more affected by the removal of damage based on per instance that the armor causes. So it looks like we are locked in here. Both teams are going to run an Orisa Roadhog, and on the side of the Honey Badgers, we do have a pharmacy coming out. Both teams are also running a McCree, just as we expected. We're going to have the Squiggly Boys are sending their Tracer off to the left, seeing if he can scout anyone out, maybe find a nice target. He is going to find Sal, manages to get it down to half, but not really anything out of it. The pharmacy's going to move up to try to take some control of the point. Sal going to get aggressive with a boop, and he is going to manage to get Mundy off the edge. That's an amazing play from Sal. Great to have him on the team when he's doing stuff like that. The hook is going to go out. And now Innovate is going to get caught out a little bit over on the side as Tommy and Wesley push through the building off to the left, give them an advantage. Now, shots are unfortunately not being hit onto the pharmacy of the Honey Badgers, which is really unfortunate because the aerial control that it's giving them over so much of the map is going to be really difficult with the Squiggly Boys to deal with. They might need to swap to a Widowmaker to really hard counter that pharmacy and give it a run for its money. We've seen ballots on the Widowmaker before. We know he's absolutely capable of it. That's why he's on the McCree right now. That's an amazing double kill in from Caliber. One rocket, 2 kills. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No push for the Squiggly Boys. And they're going to solo out Monday as well. Tommy's also going to use the Deadeye. They're getting really Q happy right now. Absolutely going crazy with all those ultimates. They may have just ruined their chance at holding the ult economy, though, because now Chrysler has his Valkyrie, just as Hippo Mage is coming up on his. The only one that they really have an advantage with now is Wesley's Supercharger, which is not always the most applicable ultimate, especially now that Blue Dude is onto his own pharmacy. And indeed, we did see Ballots Cannon swap over to the Widowmaker to try and deal with the enemy pharmacy from Caliber. That's a nice pick from Blue Dude onto Hippo Mage. The Supercharger is going to go down for some extra pressure onto the shield. Ballots is going to take out Caliber. That's most of the damage gone now from the side of the Honey Badgers. Half the team is dead. That's a nice hook into the pit. BitConnect is down. The halt is there, but unfortunately there's no hook to follow up with Monday. That's all right. They don't need it. They'll just get the ult charge the other way, you know, the harder way, where you click on people instead of shifting them into the hole. Doesn't matter. Well, the Honey Badgers have gotten it all the way up to 74%. They only need to take it back once and then hold it. Maybe for one extra push. Depends how fast the Squiggly Boys are at reconvening to take the point again. So at this point, Wesley is going to start moving up. He's going to throw a halt out, not going to find anything. Ballots is hanging out up there. He knows the far and knows where he is, so he's going to have to back up here. Keep trying to pressure the pharmacy. Doesn't want him taking free shots. Blue Dude's getting very aggressive. And it looks like, sorry, one moment, still getting message. Blue Dude's gonna actually get punished for the aggression, and Chrysler too, because the Mercy was with him. Both Pharmacy actually lost the duel with Caliber. Even though the res is off, Caliber doesn't care. He's gonna keep fragging out. That's a nice hook on a Monday. The Squiggly Boys are at a distinct disadvantage now for this fight, and they are gonna get the point flipped on them. Like I said before, Honey Badgers are definitely showing some prowess when it comes to King of the Hill. They seem to know how to frag out. Their mechanics have been very, very good throughout all of these matches so far. Haven't really seen any big mechanical misplays. Unfortunately for the Squiggly Boys, Innovate is caught out of position on the right side. That is unlucky. And that means the Squiggly Boys are going to have to push without their Transcendence. They're going to have to wait and just stay alive long enough for Zenyatta to get back. The Deadeye is going to get popped from Tommy, and that's going to take out the Pharmacy. Nothing they can do about it. Ballots is going to take out Caliber too, but the frags are still coming in for the Honey Badgers. Ballots manages to get both in the Pharmacy, which is fantastic, but the whole hog is there to keep people from touching. An amazing play by Mark just then. Doesn't want anybody touching his point. Does not belong to anybody but him. Spam, spam, spam in the Twitch chat. Now we're going to move on to Lighthouse. We might see some Ryan Zarya team compositions here. Winston Diva is also very doable. Ryan Diva is actually the most common that you're seeing on at the pro level on this point, is you get a Reinhardt and you get a Diva. Diva can test that high ground, make sure that people have a harder time landing shots, taking free shots, and then it's sort of a multi-purpose pick. So it looks like we're going to have Ryan Zarya, and we're keeping the Pharmacy on the side of the Honey Badgers, and then on the Squiggly Boys, we're going to have the McCree and the Tracer, also with the Ryan Zarya. Very similar team compositions, but one of them has a Pharah and one of them has a Tracer. So Blue Dude's going to put some pressure on the left side of the Honey Badgers. He's trying to get around, baits the flashbang out of Tommy. Wesley goes in for the pin, but unfortunately whiffs. Blue Dude still manages to fall to Marble, which is very, very lucky for the Honey Badgers. Now, Marble is trying to move up on Ballots, but Ballots' aim is not to be messed with. You do not challenge someone who has a very distinct advantage, because that is what will happen. Wesley tried to land a nice cheeky pin, but unfortunately the counter pin was there. Tommy is going to win the duel with Ballots, but Wesley still manages to fall. This could go either way. On point, though, the team with the Reinhardt still alive will have an advantage. You can see now the Mercy for Hippo Mage is accidentally fallen off the map, it would seem. Not entirely sure what happened there. Tommy and Caliber really need to be trying to get out now. I don't believe they really want to see this through, and yet it looks like that's what they're doing. They're applying some pressure. Wesley's going to get back. They need to be careful of boops here. Caliber is getting very, very close to his grab. So is Mundy. Hers is also very close. It looks like Tommy has to be careful on the right side. He's going to get two with the Deadeye. Now on the right, Soldier is there to... Balance Cannon Soldier is there to follow up. There is a Graviton there onto the rest of the Honey Badgers, but it's not going to find anything. Now it's just BitConnect on the point. He's very low. He's going to get knocked off the map anyways. So at this point, it definitely could go for the Honey Badgers. Balance Cannon is on point. It's just a Valked Mercy who looks like he's retreating. And at this point, the Squiggly Boys are going to need to back up, reassess the situation. They do have a lot of ultimates to play with here. or excuse me, that's the Honey Badgers that have a lot of ultimates to play with. Uh-oh, for the Squiggly Boys. The Squiggly Boys have Transcendence, Earth Shatter, and soon Pulse Bomb, but they are going to swap the Tracer over to a Hanzo. So that's what Blue Dude is on now. That's a very interesting choice, probably to put some more pressure on Wesley, and perhaps to also help a little bit more with the Pharmacy, since Ballast Cannon is having a much harder time dealing with the Pharmacy now that he's on Soldier rather than a McCree. Tommy is off. Tommy is getting a little bit pressured on the right side by Ballast Cannon Soldier, who's really trying to make use of this flank. Tommy's being forced all the way back on a point. That's not really what you want when you have a Hanzo and a Soldier. Wesley gets counterpinned again. He's got to stop going for those aggressive plays. At this point, Marble is in the back lane. He's got ult. He wants to use it on something, but he's not finding much. He might not need it since Tommy's going to take two. The Transcendence allows Chris to res. Hippo Mage is going to pop his Valkyrie earlier on. At this point, it could still go either way. It looks like it's actually going towards the side of the Honey Badgers. Unfortunately, Blue Dude is not going to be able to get back up after getting knocked off. He tried to climb back up, but it just wasn't enough. So at this point, the Honey Badgers have all 5 ultimates. They are only missing Graviton Surge. Meanwhile, on the side of the Squiggly Boys, they are really struggling. They don't know what to do against this team composition. They need to have something to deal with that Pharmacy. I think a Widowmaker might be in order because the Pharmacy is just completely preventing anybody from doing anything. Now, they do have their own Pharmacy at this point, so they're probably going to try to apply their own pressure. But Tommy has very good aim, very, very consistent on the hit scan. He's a very consistent Widowmaker and McCree player. That's a very early Graviton. The Wesley is not going to actually manage to land his charge, and the Shatter is going to get blocked. Someone's got a touch point to make sure it goes into overtime in a second. Unfortunately, frags are going to be coming through for the Honey Badgers, which means it looks like Squiggly Boys are going to have to really take it back because this is going to be game point for the Honey Badgers. Squiggly Boys really are going to need to fight this out. If they lose this next point, they have lost the match. I believe in you, Squiggly Boys. I believe in the Honey Badgers too, but I also believe in you. Never give up. So we are moving to Ruins here. This is match point for the Honey Badgers. They are so close to achieving that victory in this match. Looks like they are going to swap over to a Winston composition, and they're going to have Marble on Doomfist possibly. We might see him swap over to the Diva. Looks like he has not yet decided, so it looks like the Diva is a likely choice. Meanwhile, on the side of the Squiggly Boys, looks like we may end up with Rein Zarya on Ruins, which is very interesting. They're going to have to go with the Rein Diva as much. Diva because they know they need something to help deal with the snipers on the enemy team. Tommy has been outplaying the snipers on Squiggly Boys very consistently over the course of the match, ever so slightly. Blue Dude manages to get the upper hand on Tommy this time, but there is a res available, so the fight is not over. At this point, Tommy's moving to get a little bit more aggressive. Blue Dude has not yet moved up. Innovative is going to fall very early on. So is Crystler. Crystler? Christ, I don't know, man. Frags are continuing to come through for the Honey Badgers. And it looks like at this point, the Squiggly Boys just need to back up. Now, if I were the Honey Badgers, I would let Mundy die here because you don't want Mundy to not have her mech for the whole time while you're trying to get to the fight. They're going to swap Innovate onto the Brigitte, which is an interesting choice, probably to help deal with Wesley and Marble on those intense dives. There is another. That was an amazing shot. Very unlucky for Sal. Tried to get into the bubble, but accidentally Guardian Angel jumped above it, which allowed Tommy to hit him at the last second. Blue Dude manages to take out Hippo Mage, but a pulse is stuck mid Guardian Angel onto Crystler. That was an amazing stick. Tommy is still fragging out. Blue Dude is out of play, which means there's not much to stop Tommy, but the point presence is absolutely in the Squiggly Boys' favor, so this will probably flip, but maybe not for long, as Tommy really needs to be dealt with. They do manage to take out Tommy now. It's just a matter of preventing Sal from rezzing, because if Sal gets the res off, it'll be a really easy contest immediately from the Honey Badgers. Looks like Chris is going to go for the res here on the Winston. He's going to get it off, but he's going to get stuck in the process. That is unfortunate for him. Now Big Connect is back up. Have I been saying names right? I think I've been saying names wrong. That's all right. Big Connect is back up. He's going to take down Marble. So the rest of Squiggly Boys is back up in play. And they do have control of the point. This is very winnable. They have
not too much of an ult disadvantage here. It's absolutely possible for them to build up a quick ultimate. That's an amazing pick onto Blue Dude. They're going to get Sal back up to go for the res using a nice jump from Wesley. That's some great teamwork that they're showing. Some really great players on these teams. And now that he's back up, Tommy's just going to do a 180, and he's instantly going to kill Blue Dude. The res is there for him too, though, and luckily Tommy misses the shot to finish him off. Wesley is going to pop the Primal Rage. He really wants Chrysler. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to call him Chris. The self-destruct is coming through. Is it going to find anyone? It's not going to find anyone. Innovate's right there with Ballard's Cannon. The Deadeye is going to get Caliber. Unfortunately, the Shield Bash was not there to keep Ballard's Cannon up as Wesley dived him, or dove him. Marble is alone on the point now. Tommy does manage to take out Blue Dude. That means Tommy's taking free shots, and Chris has to stay really careful and behind this line of sight somewhere Tommy will not shoot him. The Squiggly Boys are slowly taking advantage here. That's a nice stick from Caliber onto Innovate. Squiggly Boys have to be really careful here. If they get it onto 99%, that would be plenty. The res is coming through from Sal onto Caliber. Money's going to go shut down Tommy, but not for long. A nice headshot from Tommy means Money's actually going to get shut down by him. Now, at this point, Tommy is going to get headshot by Blue Dude, apparently. It could still go either way. The Honey Badgers don't want to point. If they can take this home, they win the match. This is the fight, my dude. And it looks like the Squiggly Boys are slowly coming out on top. The only thing that could change it now is Tommy getting out and hitting some nice shots. He's actually swapped over to the Genji to get back to point faster. Wesley is going to pop Primal, but it is only going to serve to stall. Rest of the Honey Badgers are coming back now. It's an even fight. They do manage to take out Blue Dude. That is massive. I managed to mess it up even when I'm not saying the whole name. Chris manages to get the res off and everything, which means it's still absolutely in the Honey Badgers' favor, or in the Squiggly Boys' favor. Hippo Mage is going to pop the Transcendence. Got to keep it alive somehow, but it's just supports at this point. Marble is back. Maybe he wants to keep someone up with the Defense Magic. That's a really unfortunate Diva Bomb. Going to zone people off the point. Diva gets killed. Sal is going to be next. And I think this will be the end of it for the Honey Badgers. Unfortunately, West does not manage to bunny hop back onto the point exactly like he needs to. Unlucky for him. So the Squiggly Boys could pull it back here. We might even see it go to the tiebreaker on the King of the Hill. Squiggly Boys just needs to be on top of that Pharah. The Pharah is not that hard to deal with on the Ruins map, which might be why they were having an easier time, is because they were not having to deal with the Pharah the whole time. But coming into Well, it is entirely possible that the Pharah will return and continue to cause many problems for Squiggly Boys.
5, 4, 3, 2,
So here the teams are going to start to roll out. We have very similar team compositions to what we had before. Blue Duty is going to be the Widowmaker this time, anticipating the Pharmacy. He's going to try to get somewhere real fast, take some nice shots. If he can knock Chris and Balix out of the air really fast, that would be fantastic. At this point, Squiggly Boys need to be careful. Sal is out of position. He went for that boot, but he didn't hit it. He might get punished for it. The Pharmacy's on him, but it doesn't look like he's going to die. He is going to get out alive as long as he can stay away. He's going to go for another boop. That's very, very brave of him. He's not going to get anything. He knows when to call it quits. He's going to back out now before something bad happens. Looks like he wants to get into position to do it again. He unfortunately does not manage to time it quite right. Blue Dude does manage to take Caliber out of the sky. There might be a res available. Indeed, there is, which means Caliber is going to be back up. Balance is trying to change positions now. He wants to get a nice pinch going onto the tank lineup of the Honey Badgers. Unfortunately for the Squiggly Boys, the percentage is going up for the Honey Badgers, and they're down a player in this team fight. It might be time to call it and back out and try again. Blue Dude does manage to take out Tommy, and there shouldn't be a res available for him quite yet. So that is a really nice pick, but it will not be enough to actually win them the fight. A lack of Tommy is not a lack of owning the point. Although sometimes it feels like it's synonymous in my scrims when, I'm playing with Tommy, or in pugs when I'm playing against him, but not the case here. So we're going to have a Balance Cannon going in with the Rocket Barrage. He is going to get 2. He dies in the process. He frags out onto the tank lineup, but Hippo Mage is still alive on the Honey Badgers, which means he could actually get a res off somewhere. The Coalescence is there to put some pressure on him. They do manage to take out Sal, but Tommy's going to be there with a flashbang to stop it, but not quite enough to really end it. Hippo Mage is going to fall next. This should flip to the Squiggly Boys. And now the Squiggly Boys need to push up a little bit, try to get a stagger kill. That would do wonders for their ult economy, considering how many resources they just piled into capping that point. At this point, they can only afford to lose the point once, and even then, they don't really want to, because at this point, it would be very difficult. They'd be short on time when they move in to recontest it. They would have about 90% left, which is not the position you want to be in. Balance is going to get very aggressive with this positioning. That's going to be a barrage. Unfortunately, Blue Dude is there to shut it down completely. Hippo Mage is there to res it back up. There's that Deadeye coming through. It's not going to get anyone. He peeked through the shield a little bit. That is unfortunate. Everybody makes mistakes. Blue Dude manages to take out Wesley too. The hook onto Marble did not actually send him into the pit, but it's still some nice ult charge for the rest of the team. Caliber does manage to take out Blue Dude out on the side. And Sal looks like he might be going for yet another boop. If he can get something, that could be big. Unfortunately, he misses the boop just a little bit. Not quite what he's looking for. And at this point, Blue Dude is actually going to get rezzed, so the Squiggly Boys are in a pretty nice spot here. Now, Balance really needs to deal with that Supercharger. He's in a nice position to do so because there's not really anyone pressuring him, but unfortunately, he's not going to be doing that. So both Superchargers are in play now. The Hogs have hooked each other into the center of the pit, which is fantastic. Blue Dude is also going to die. This is going to lead to a cascade. Looks like the Honey Badgers are going to start fragging out on the Squiggly Boys. BitConnect is caught out by Tommy. He needs a little healing, otherwise he's going to fall. There's the healing coming in from Chris. Tommy's still on the point. He's going to halt Sal off, but it's, you know, it's Lucio. He can get back on the point. Now, the Honey Badgers have not been able to actually commit to getting BitConnect off of the point. Tommy's going to get killed in order just to do it. Now, that hook was probably a little bit misaimed there. Should have been going for the Mercy. This is an incredible retake without ever losing the point by the Squiggly Boys. I think we are about to see a 5th point on Ilios, which would really showcase exactly how evenly matched these teams are. Really, really close fights, all of them. Hippo Mage is trying to stall on in his Valkyrie form, but he's not going to do it for too long. Now, Tommy is here on the Tracer. He is going to get in. Sal pops his beat so that he can help with the stall. He's going to go for another boop. He managed to get... What a massive play. That's a huge percentage of the ult charge just gone. And again, another one booped off the side with Blue Dude. Caliber, if Caliber can stay alive and not die, this is actually winnable. Unfortunately, he uses his ult just barely off the point. That is so unlucky. That is not what you want to see. I just reached for my cup of water and then in despair realized it's still empty. We're gonna go back to Ruins. This is the match point. Whoever takes this point will win the match. This is it. This whole point, everything both teams have done up to this point, it will mean nothing if they do not cap and hold this point to completion. They need to get it all the way to 99, and then they need to let that overtimer kick. Let's just tick down. They just need it all the way down. So we're going to have a Pharmacy coming out on the side of the Squiggly Boys. There's a really interesting shot because they know how consistent Widowmaker. They don't even have a Widowmaker of their own. This is a really interesting strategy. I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. Looks like they're playing corners very, very tightly. They want to initiate a dive probably onto Tommy, which is that would work as long as they can keep track of Tommy's cooldowns. They're going to try to catch Wesley's dive after he uses his shots. Tommy is going to manage to take out Blue Dude, but Wes is going to fall. Tommy also manages to take out Innovative, which means Balance's chance to get onto Tommy is not going to pay off because someone else is going to shoot him right out of the sky. I do not think this Pharah strategy is going to be working for the Squiggly Boys. They probably need to swap off of it as fast as possible and put someone on Widowmaker who can really contest Tommy or Caliber, because right now the Pharmacy is not going to lend itself to a victory, I don't believe. I believe we're seeing Balance swap to something right now. Indeed, we are going to see them swap to their own double sniper. That's exactly what they need. Their ult economy is a little bit behind now, but it should give them the strategic advantage they need to strategically outplay the opponent. Caliber does get a nice pick off onto Blue Dude. I can't exactly tell where that happened, but the res is going to come through for it. So now they are going to move forward again. There's a lot of really clumped snipers. That's an amazing pick onto Caliber, but again, the res is there. That's what happens when you clump, folks. Don't clump, because when you clump, you can shoot into a massive targets and it's bound to hit something. That self-destruct could find something. It's going to find Innovative, and I don't think they have res for it, which means they probably want to back up. But no, because Blue Dude actually managed to get Hippo Mage too, so neither Zenyatta is in play, and that's really huge because Hippo Mage was incredibly close to Transcendence. That could be enough to really tilt the fight. Unfortunately, Tommy is going to win the duel against Balance. Blue Dude does manage to take out Sal, and then they also managed to res Balance. They need to keep Chris alive, though. Wes is in their backline, and unfortunately, it's like Wes is just going to frag out. He's even got Primal Rage in case they put too much pressure on him. At this point, Balance does manage to take out Tommy. That could be huge all on its own, but unfortunately, it looks like it is going the way of the Honey Badgers ever so slowly. That is, as I say that, Wesley is discorded and alone on point. It's just him and BitConnect. Marble is back now. BitConnect has the Primal Rage. He wants to chase Wesley, but he can't because he wants to keep the point control. The pressure would be great. The Dragons are going to go down mid, but they're not really going to find anything. They do manage to frag out on the tank lineup of the the Honey Badgers, which is absolutely the opening they need. They have nothing protecting the core of their team now. Caliber is forced to touch point just to force them to kill him, and Tommy and Hippo Mage are going to have to try to back up. This is an uphill fight now for the Squiggly Boys. The Honey Badgers have an ultimate advantage, and they can't afford to lose this point even once. If they do, they have to swap someone onto a Lucio just to get back in time. This is getting very, very dangerous for Squiggly Boys. They cannot get picked. They have to do everything in their power to play it very, very carefully. Caliber's flanking around the right on his left side with Marble. Wes gonna launch a dive on to Innovate. He's got Transcendence. He may have to pop it here to stay alive. Wesley actually dies really early on. Tommy also gets picked. He doesn't need to use his own Transcendence to keep the point. That's fantastic. They managed to get Hippo Mage's Transcendence out and Tommy's Infrasight, and they managed to win the fight on mechanics alone. That's some amazing play coming in from the DPS of the Squiggly Boys. Some fantastic peel onto Wesley as well by Mundy. Marble is going to move up to contest Blue Dude here. Doesn't look like anything's going to come of it. Marble actually might get demech'd for it too. Not enough defense matrix to keep him up. That is unfortunate. He's probably just going to want to jump off the map here. Indeed, that does look like what he's doing. At this point, we have both Transcendence and Dragons in play for the Squiggly Boys, and we have Self-Destruct and Dragons in play for the Honey Badgers. This is an ultimate advantage on the side of the Squiggly Boys. Wesley just got his Primal Rage, but you have to keep in mind Mundy is also Self-Destruct. So 100% this is in favor of the Squiggly Boys. They're going to launch a nice dive onto Tommy, not even